Hey guys, tonight we're soaring above the clouds and stepping onto the mist-shrouded summit of Mount Olympus, where legends linger in every breeze. You can practically taste the crisp mountain air, tinged with the scent of wild thyme and ancient marble. Picture yourself padding barefoot on dew-kissed grass, the softest carpet you've ever felt, though fair warning. If you accidentally trip over Zua's thunderbolt, you probably wouldn't survive that kind of party foul. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Drop a comment below telling me where you're watching from and what time it is in your corner of the world. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. You find yourself on an illusion of cloud columns that support an enormous marble plaza, each column etched with swirling motifs of laurel leaves and crowned eagles. Behind you, the sky blushes lavender as the sun dips toward the western horizon, sending golden fingers of light across the palace roofs. The air hums with hushed chatter, a chorus of gods and goddesses unwinding after a long day of divine duties. You catch Hera smoothing her robes in a corner, and Poseidon, still dripping sea spray, clinks a goblet of nectar. Ancient Greeks believed Mount Olympus was the physical home of the 12 principle. Olympian gods, a belief so enduring that pilgrims climbed its slopes for centuries. Fact. Tonight you're one of those pilgrims. Only you bypass the treacherous paths and stand right in the heart of divine gossip. Your senses sharpen, the distant laughter of Hephaestus forging fine armor, the soft trill of Apollo tuning his lyre, and Aphrodite's melodic sigh as she preens before a fountain of rose water. It's as if the entire pantheon is gathering for a backstage reception, except you're the VIP guest nobody warned you about. It's a momentous invitation, though rumor has it no mortal has ever been formally invited to the Summit Council without accidentally triggering a prophecy. Here's a curious tidbit. Early cartographers once believed Olympus rose so high its peak scraped the underbelly of the heavens, a misconception debunked only after climbers strapped on oxygen masks in the 19th century. Curiosity. A gentle breeze skims across your skin, carrying the faint echo of chariot wheels. Beneath your feet, the marble tiles radiate warmth, as if the mountain itself breathes life into the palace. The air tickles your ears, and you can almost taste the faint sweetness of ambrosia. You hear the soft clink of golden goblets, and realize you've somehow slipped into the after-party of the gods' dinner. You're surrounded by deities lounging on oversized cushions, some swirling grape juices in crystal cups, others drifting between conversations like butterflies. The scene is luxurious and surreal, yet oddly comforting, like your coziest memory stitched into the most extravagant dream. As you step forward, Hera's eyes flick to you, a half-smile playing across her lips. Her regal presence is as formidable as the peacock motif on her scepter. You sense she's sizing you up, maybe thinking, who invited this sneaker-clad mortal? Beside her, Zeus reclines on a thundercloud-shaped chaise, casually twirling a miniature thunderbolt between his fingers. You imagine what it must be like to pick up a lightning bolt for your next home improvement project. Definitely a no-go unless you fancy a crispy glow. You drift past the banquet tables, each groaning under platters of honey-roasted lamb and bowls of spiced figs. Somewhere in the corner, Dionysus uncorks another amphora of wine, humming the tune that makes the ivy vines on the walls sway in time. You inhale the heady aroma, and your toes wiggle in delight, though you remind yourself not to break into a dance because mortals doing the cha-cha in front of Dionysus is apparently considered rude and divine etiquette. At the center of the plaza stands a raised dais, circled by 3 columns gilded in gold leaf. The columns bear inscriptions in ancient Greek. One reads Rho Alpha, Hera, the next Theta, Eta, Nu, Athena, and the last Roderica, Aphrodite. It feels like the calm before a storm and event is imminent, and you, for reasons still unclear, have front row seats. The clouds below shift color from ivory to rose-petaled pink, painting a surreal sunset tapestry. You pause to run your fingers along the dais's balustrade, the metal smooth and warm. Echoes of ancient footsteps ripple through your mind-heroic boots, divine sandals, and perhaps even a mortal's worn leather soles from centuries ago. There's a thrill in knowing you share space with beings whose stories have shaped civilizations. Yet you also feel an odd tingle of vulnerability, because here, on this sacred stage, every glance and whisper can tip the balance of power in the world below. Just then, a soft gong echoes through the plaza, each chime resonating like the toll of a cosmic bell. The gods quiet, their chatter dissolving into expectant silence. You take a steadying breath, the weight of anticipation settling over you like a velvet cloak. In the distance, you glimpse Eris, the goddess of discord, slinking through a side arch, though her entrance is another story for later tonight. For now, you stand at the threshold of fate, on the cusp of an event that will alter destinies and echo through the ages. You realize in this suspended moment that you're about to witness history in the making, or more precisely, myth in the making. The summit is hushed, the gods are poised, and you, a single mortal, are about to become part of a tale that will outlive empires. A gentle smile curves your lips as you brace for what comes next, your heart fluttering like a dove released into dawn. And with that, the stage is set. You glide down a sweeping marble staircase and into a courtyard that hums with festivity. Peleus, the mortal hero, stands beside Thetis, the sea goddess whose hair glistens like wet kelp under a dawn sky. You feel the sea's cool breath on your skin, mixed with the honeyed sweetness of roasted figs and incense. Lanterns fashioned from seashells hang overhead, casting pearlescent light across tables heaped with olives and smoked fish, while silverware jingles like distant waves whenever guests reach for another mouthful. As you push through the throng, you notice attendants scattering rose petals at the couple's feet, a symbol of fertility and new beginnings, a tradition that even mortals in ancient Athens followed during their own weddings. In fact, many city-states in classical Greece celebrated weddings over 3 days of feasting and ritual, culminating in a procession that led the bride to her new home by torchlight. This multi-day ceremony underscores how deeply entwined these rites were with community life and social order. The music swells as a troupe of musicians strikes up a tune on lyres and owl's pipes. You can almost taste the brine in the air as the melody weaves through the courtyard, encouraging couples to dance. You decide to join in, though your mortal 2 left feet routine draws curious glances. You pivot, you stumble. You nearly crash into an overflowing goblet of wine, and you realize why mortals invented the notion of wine goggles, to excuse their own awkwardness on the dance floor. Nearby, Peleus raises his goblet, toasting the assembled crowd. He's dressed in a tunic dyed the deep crimson of a Spartan shield, a nod to his valor at the Caledonian boar hunt. Thetis gleams beside him in a robe spun from sea silk, shimmering like the surface of a sunlit lagoon. Their attire blends mortal craftsmanship and divine glamour, a union of two worlds. A guest murmurs that there's rumor of a poet composing an epic about this very union, a project that could rival the Iliad in length, should it ever be finished. You inhale deeply, savoring the aroma of spiced lamb roasting on a spit. A child tucks sprigs of laurel into your hair, giggling as the leaves tickle your scalp. Laurel wreaths symbolize victory and honor worn by Olympic champions, including those glorious early games begun in 776 BC. Imagine the thrill of standing atop that podium, wreath fresh and heartbeat loud, as your name echoes through the stadium. That sense of triumph fills the courtyard tonight. Only here it belongs to love's conquest rather than athletic glory. Your ears pick up the soft chant of a priest invoking Poseidon's blessing, hoping the sea god will keep Thetis's family realm calm and prosperous. Thetis smiles serenely, her gaze sliding to you as if she senses your immortal intruder, but her warmth puts you at ease. You step forward to offer a gift. A small carved dolphin made of ivory. It glints pale and perfect in your palm, and you deliver it with a bow that nearly grazes the hem of Thetis's gown. She accepts it with a nod so graceful it could calm a raging sea. Off to one side, an elderly guest recounts an obscure detail. The bride's veil, called the flammeum, was often dyed flame red to ward off evil spirits believed to lurk in shadows. This odd custom may have originated from ancient Anatolia, where saffron was used to set the bride's locks, a property that was thought to stir desire and happiness. As you listen, you realize that wedding customs can be as elaborate as a battle plan, each ritual a strategic move in the affairs of the heart. Suddenly, the music shifts to a slower, more lyrical melody. Torches flicker golden as a procession forms around the couple. You follow behind, the marble floor cool beneath your bare feet. The procession weaves through columns carved with waves and sea creatures, a reminder that you're walking in the realm where gods and mortals mingle. Your senses tingle. The snap of draped silk, the murmur of blessings in various dialects, the gentle plop of horses waiting to carry the newlyweds to their bridal chamber. You catch Peleus's eye, and he offers you a grin that's half pride, half relief. Handling a goddess on the dance floor clearly demands more finesse than facing a giant boar. Thetis's laughter rings like chimes caught in a spring breeze. In this moment, you sense the powerful blend of fear and excitement that accompanies any great change, mortal or divine. As dusk deepens, the feast continues under a canopy of stars. You spot a group of revelers playing a drinking game, passing a jug of honeyed wine around a circle and trying to finish it without spilling a drop. One brave soul ends up making a face so exaggerated that he spills on his neighbor, provoking a string of amused curses and good-natured shoves. It's a rowdy reminder that even immortals value the lightheartedness of mortal folly. At the far end of the courtyard, you glimpse a musician whispering a lullaby to his harp, an unexpected hush settling over the unfolding celebration. It's a gentle transition, as though the gods themselves are reminding everyone that even the most joyous days need moments of quiet reflection. You drift closer to the wedding dais where Peleus and Thetis stand hand in hand. There's a hush as a priest pronounces them bonded in both mortal and immortal realms, a union destined to ripple through history and myth. You share in that hush, feeling the weight of their vows echo in your chest like distant thunder. As the ceremony winds down, torches are piled high and set ablaze in a brilliant tower of flickering light. You watch the flames dance, one flicker becoming many, like sparks of destiny flying into the night. A playful breeze tugs at your hair, carrying embers toward the dark sky, and you realize that this night marks not only a wedding, but the opening act of a story that will spiral into war, love, and legend. You step back, breath steady, heart still humming with celebration. In a world where gods can wed mortals and mortals can hold their own in divine pageantry, you find yourself marveling at the thin veil between human and immortal realms. How one simple ceremony can stitch their fates together. With one last look at the couple bathed in torchlight, you turn toward the archways leading deeper into Olympus. There's mischief and destiny waiting, and you can't help but wonder what surprises the next turn will bring. The courtyard's laughter fades behind you, replaced by the soft echo of your footsteps and the distant murmur of the gods still reveling through the night air. You drift through a shadowed archway and suddenly feel the temperature drop, as if someone switched off the sun. The air tightens around you, carrying the faint scent of scorched parchment and unresolved grudges. Your skin prickles when Eris, the goddess of discord, appears at the edge of your vision, her cloak the color of bruised grapes, and her eyes glittering with amused malice. You wonder if she's here for the hors d'oeuvres or to stir trouble. With Eris, it's often hard to tell the difference. She steps onto the marble floor with a soft click of glass slippers. Yes, glass slippers, because nothing says I specialize in chaos like footwear that shatters at the first wrong turn. The courtiers part before her, whispering prayers under their breath and crossing themselves reflexively. You almost wish you had thought to bring garlic or a holy symbol, but alas, you only have your wits and a half-eaten fig in your pocket. Eris glides forward like ink spreading across a page, her laughter a low purr that makes the hair on your arms stand on end. She carries no goblet of nectar, no platter of honeyed treats, only the weight of her presence. Ancient storytellers blamed her for igniting the Trojan War by tossing a simple golden apple among the goddesses, a prank with consequences so grave that it echoes through Western literature even today. You can almost see the ripple of that moment here in her smirk. The goddesses, still celebrating the wedding feast, falter in their revelry as she approaches. Hera's laugh catches in her throat. Athena's sharp gaze flickers with irritation, and Aphrodite's hand goes to rest lightly on Paris's shoulder. You shift on your feet, drawing in a slow breath. You've heard tales of Eris's mischief, how a single whisper from her could turn friends into enemies, but you've never felt her power so viscerally. The flicker of torchlight paints her features in shifting shadows, sharpening her cheekbones into something both mesmerizing and unsettling. You imagine that if you looked closely, you'd see a trail of tiny sparks escaping from the hem of her cloak, like embers from an eternal bonfire. Every step she takes echoes like a rumor spreading through a crowded market. She stops before the dais where the golden columns stand silent sentinels. In her hand, she produces an object wrapped in black silk, the very golden apple inscribed, "For the fairest." You stare at it, mesmerized by the way it seems to glow from within, as though starlight were trapped in its smooth surface. The apple is smooth and impossibly warm, like a hearthstone from the heart of a volcano. You swallow, remembering that fruit and myths often carries curses as much as sweetness. Think of the pomegranate in the Persephone story, a classic case of one bite and your world changes forever. You feel a knot of excitement twist in your stomach, equal parts dread and fascination. Nearby, a cupbearer freezes mid-step, silver goblet in hand. eyes wide enough to accommodate two secrets at once. You notice his knuckles are chalk white from gripping the goblet so tightly. A small voice in your head urges you to turn and run back to the wedding feast. At least there you could drown your apprehension in honeyed wine. Instead, you stand your ground, curious how far this chaos will spread. It strikes you that, despite her reputation, Eris has a certain artistry in her approach. She never forces conflict. She merely nudges events until they topple. It's as if she's the world's greatest domino artist, setting pieces just so, before stepping back to watch them fall. Legend says that even the Olympian gods dread her interventions. After all, they've spent millennia polishing their powers, only for her to rearrange the pieces in a single breath. A sudden breeze rattles the torch flames overhead, and you shiver as if someone ran a cold knife down your spine. You glance up and catch Hera folding her arms, Athena adjusting the bridle of her warhorse, icons of power readying themselves, and Aphrodite standing tall, her expression unreadable. They exchange glances that crackle with unspoken tension, and you realize this is the moment before the storm, the silence pregnant with possibility. You inhale the scent of smoldering olive wood from the torches, mixed with the faint, metallic tang of fear. Your heart pounds like a war drum in your chest, and your pulse drags a rhythmic echo through your ears. Somewhere behind you, you swear you hear the distant clank of armor as Eris pads closer, drawn by the promise of battle. A thought flits through your mind. Did you accidentally RSVP yes to a cosmic bloodbath? Eris flicks her wrist, and the apple seems to shimmy, catching the torchlight in a way that makes it look alive. The goddesses step closer, each extending a hand with perfect grace. You imagine the offers they're about to make: power, wisdom, love, three paths diverging in a mythic wood, with you standing at the crossroads, heart thudding and breath shallow, your senses hum with anticipation. You taste the tang of anticipation on your tongue like a bitter herb, and the air vibrates with the soft murmur of destiny. You realize you're witnessing the seed of a conflict that will shape centuries of art, war, and poetry, but in this moment, it feels unbearably intimate, like you could lean in and hear the world's fate whispering your name. Eris steps back, her work done, and allows the goddesses to lean forward, each eager to claim the prize. You straighten your shoulders, your breath a steadying tide. Your pulse slows to a manageable rhythm as you brace yourself for the offers to come, knowing that once words are spoken, nothing will ever be the same. You step onto the raised dais as the torchlight flickers across a single, flawless object, resting upon a bed of rose petals, a golden apple, smooth and radiant, inscribed in delicate script with the words, "For the fairest." A hush falls over the assembled gods, their divine chatter evaporating like mist at dawn. You lean in, heart pounding, and you swear you can hear the faint whisper of metal singing in the heat of the torches. The apple's surface seems to ripple as though it holds a hidden current just beneath its burnished skin. Your fingertips itch with the urge to reach out and touch it, though you know better than to handle a token of divine judgment. In mythic art from ancient Greece, apples were often symbols of temptation and discord, painted on vases and carved in relief to warn viewers of the chaos that beauty can unleash. Now you stand face to face with the very fruit that shattered the harmony of Olympus itself. The columns around you gleam with reflected light, casting long shadows that dance like silent watchers. A tense energy crackles between the three goddesses as they advance in turn. Hera, regal in her peacock-plumed robes, steps forward first. You sense her offering before she speaks, the promise of unrivaled authority, the clout to command armies and empires with the flick of her scepter. An echo of empire building reverberates through your mind. Hera's influence once guided the early Spartans as they fortified their walls and claimed their myths. You feel her eyes on you, warm and daunting, as if her gaze alone could redraw the map of the mortal world. Then Athena approaches, her armor whisper silent, helmet tucked under one arm. The air around her carries the scent of sharpened bronze and ink-dark olive wood, the tools of builders, scholars, and tacticians. You recall how the Parthenon in Athens once stood as her gift to humankind, its columns a testament to her guardianship of wisdom and artistry. She offers you a vision of strategic insight, the ability to foresee battles' ebb and flow, and to guide mortals to victory. You imagine the tide of history bending under her counsel, armies forging paths of triumph and cities rising on the foundations of her designs. Finally, Aphrodite glides forward, her silken veil swirling like sea foam at the shore. A warmth blooms in your chest at her approach, as though the hearth of first love has ignited within you. Her promise arrives not on a wave of thunder or a command of troops, but in the soft flutter of a heart awakened. She whispers of a love so profound that poets would chase its memory for centuries, dreaming of a beauty that could turn the head of the world's most desired woman. Legends tell of the garden she tended beneath Cyprus's sun, where roses first unfurled their petals in acknowledgement of her power. You stand between three forces: power, wisdom, desire, each a path that could reshape your destiny and the fate of all who dwell below the clouds. Sweat beads on your brow, though the night air is cool. Your pulse thrums in your ears like a lonely drum. You taste metal at the back of your throat, a reminder that this moment will echo through every epic to come. On the edge of your vision, you catch a flicker of movement. Eris reclining against a column, a wicked grin curving her lips. She seems unconcerned, as if she has already won, content to watch the seeds of discord sprout in the minds of gods and mortals alike. There's an unsettling delight in knowing that a single choice, a single breath, could unravel peace and plunge the world into conflict. You breathe in the mingled scents of olive oil and honey, of battle-hardened shields and sweet perfumes. The courtyard beyond feels distant now, as though you've been lifted into a separate realm where time slows to accommodate the weight of your decision. You lean forward, eyeing the apple one last time. Its smooth surface reflects three faces, each divine, each radiating a promise that throbs with potential. A thought strikes you, curious and out of place. In Norse legends, golden apples sustained the youth of the gods, their juices said to grant everlasting vitality. Yet here this same image has been twisted into a tool of seduction and strife. It fascinates you how a single symbol can bear such different meanings, shifting shape across cultures and epochs. Your hand hovers inches above the apple. The world seems suspended in a breathless moment, waiting for you to tip the scales. You sense the weight of generations pressing on you, heroes, poets, artists, all looking to this instant as the spark that ignites the story of Troy. You recall how countless bards will one day recount this very scene, the moment when divine ambition met divine wisdom and divine love, and the mortal hand chose which flame to fan. Your fingers twitch, and the air crackles with expectation. The three goddesses hold their breath, their eyes shining with the light of dawn yet to come. Even Zeus' thunderbolt, perched on its pedestal, seems to hum, as though eager to crackle across the sky in response to your choice. Below, the faint murmur of Troy drifts up on the wind, as if destiny itself leans closer to catch your verdict. You swallow, taste salt and something fiercer on your tongue, and you realize that in this split second you are both witness and participant, mortal and myth entwined. The apple glows more intensely, as if waiting for the heat of your decision to set it ablaze. You close your eyes, your breath steadying, and prepare to claim your fate. You step forward as Hera's voice rings out like a clarion call, and Athena's retort cuts through the evening air like the edge of a finely honed spear. You feel the ground vibrate beneath your feet as their words clash, each syllable charged with the authority of centuries. Hera's robe, threaded with gold filaments that catch the torchlight, rustles as she paces, her wrath a slow-burning tide. Athena stands her ground, helmet gleaming, shield at her side, her gaze steady and unflinching. You're caught between two storms, aware that even a whisper from you could shift the balance. Hera fixes you with a piercing look, her hand brushing the peacock feather at her shoulder, an emblem of her pride and watchful vigilance. She reminds you of her promise. Legions of subjects bowing, cities rising at her command, empires built upon her decree. Beneath her regal tone, you almost hear the ancient hammering of Spartans forging their famously impenetrable phalanx formation, an echo of her influence on mortal resolve. Next to her, Athena's gaze softens for a fraction of a second before hardening again. She speaks of tactics, of guiding heroes from the shadows, of weaving victory from the threads of strategy. You're sure you can almost taste the dust of Marathon on your tongue, as if the very memory of that triumph has been distilled into her words. Your skin tingles with anticipation. Torches lining the dais flicker as the wind picks up, sending tongues of flame dancing across the polished marble. Somewhere behind you, the distant hum of Olympus's fountains blends with the low murmur of assembled deities. All inches from witnessing this clash of ideals, you glance down at your feet bare, trembling slightly, and realize this is more than a choice between favors. It's a test of what you value most, dominion or discernment. Hera's voice softens just enough to carry a seductive promise. Imagine palaces that pierce the heavens, she intones, your name spoken in every tongue, your influence etched on every banner. You imagine marble columns carved in your honor, crowds thronging to catch a glimpse of your triumph. Her words feel as expansive as the great amphitheaters of Athens, places where orators once swayed citizens with booming rhetoric. You sense her belief that power, once grasped, can mold the world as easily as a potter shapes clay. Athena steps closer, boots silent against the stone. She flicks a lock of hair back from her cheek and invites you to envision something less flamboyant, but perhaps more enduring. Picture minds illuminated by insight, she suggests, her tone even but compelling. Armies guided by your counsel, cities fortified against folly, futures shaped by your clarity. You see blueprints unfurling in your mind bridges spanning rivers, libraries stocked with scrolls, scholars debating under colonnades. The memory of the Parthenon comes to you, not just as a temple, but as a symbol of what human ingenuity can achieve under her patronage. A hush falls for a heartbeat as the goddesses lock eyes. You catch Hera's lips twitch. She knows Athena's vision could outshine even the grandest throne. Athena's grip tightens on her spear, aware that pure power might tempt you in ways wisdom cannot temper. You're caught in the eye of their divine rivalry, the only mortal present at the heart of a struggle that has shaped myths for millennia. Your mind drifts for a moment to something you read once, that the ancient Athenians held a festival called the Panathenea in Athena's honor, filling the streets with music, athletic contests, and offerings of olive oil. Olives, Athena's gift to humanity, were so prized that amphorae of her sacred oil were awarded as prizes to victorious competitors. You inhale deeply, imagining the cool, fruity aroma of fresh oil mingling with the metallic tang of battle shields. It's an odd juxtaposition, peaceful groves and clattering armor, but it reminds you that Athena's realm spans both creativity and conflict. Hera's expression softens as she adds a quiet aside. Without order, wisdom falters. Her words are almost gentle, yet you feel the gravity behind them. She believes that authority is the backbone of civilization. You sense the echoes of Mycenae, the fortified city that once stood as a testament to fortified rule, its walls a bulwark against chaos. You wonder if the same sense of security that kept ancient realms intact now tempers Hera's own desire for dominion. Athena's response is measured. A cool breeze that clears the haze. Order without reason is tyranny, she counters, her voice carrying the calm confidence of someone who has guided heroes to victory. She gestures toward the horizon, where the last light of sunset fades behind distant clouds. Wisdom offers you the power to choose, to lead without subjugation, to shape legacies that endure beyond any single reign. The goddess's proximity makes your heart beat thunder, each pulse echoing the clash of their wills. You realize you're standing on a knife's edge between two visions of greatness, one forged in the fire of authority, the other tempered in the cool well of intellect. A sudden flicker of movement at the dame's base draws your gaze. A small bronze statue of Athena, half buried in a nest of rose petals. It's an incongruous relic, possibly a votive offering left by some long-forgotten pilgrim. The statue's eyes, chipped but defiant, seem to watch your deliberation. You sense a hidden message in its presence, that over time symbols endure, long after thrones crumble and wars fade into history. Hera notices your glance and offers a wry smile, as if she too senses the statue's silent counsel. Athena follows your gaze, a hint of amusement in her stern features. The moment stretches, and you realize this impasse has become as much about reading the subtle dance of their expressions as weighing their spoken promises. Your breath comes in slow, deliberate sips, each inhale sharpening your senses. You feel the marble beneath your fingertips, cool and unyielding, a reminder that this platform supports not just your weight, but the weight of destiny itself. Somewhere above, the clouds part for a fraction of a second, revealing a sliver of starlight. You wonder if those stars have witnessed this conflict before, their light unchanged even as mortal histories rise and fall. Hera's voice pierces your reverie. "Decide, son of Troy," she murmurs, "though you're no blood relative." Her words carry warmth and expectation, like the final instruction before a general leads his troops into battle. Athena's stance shifts, and her voice joins in, steady and clear. "Choose with foresight, bearer of our gifts." You weigh the promise of sovereign rule against the allure of strategic mastery. You imagine the paths unfurling before you, each lined with triumph and peril in equal measure. The torchlight flickers again, casting long shadows that writhe like living things. In this charged silence, you sense the gravity of your role. You are no longer a mere observer. You are the pivot on which the fates of gods and mortals turn. Every promise, every whisper, has brought you to this fulcrum. You can almost hear the distant drums of war, ready to sound once your decision is made. Your heart slows as you ground yourself in the present. You inhale the mingled aromas of olive oil and molten gold, of rose petals and sweat. You feel the gaze of two goddesses upon you, each offering a kingdom of possibility. And deep inside you recognize that this moment, suspended between power and wisdom, will echo through every epic yet to be sung. You open your eyes, the world shimmering with potential. The choice awaits. You shift your weight on the marble dais as Zeus rises from his thundercloud-shaped chaise. The gathered gods hush, and even the torch flames seem to lean in closer, their tongues flickering in anticipation. Zeus's robe ripples like a storm cloud caught in a breeze, threads of silver lightning woven into the deep indigo fabric. His eyes, the color of storm-swept seas, scan the three goddesses before resting on you, mortal judge of their fates. A low rumble resonates in your chest, as if the mountain itself is clearing its throat. In expectation, he stands with surprising reluctance, shoulders slumped as though the weight of every mortal prayer and every divine petition has settled onto his broad back. You imagine the countless disputes he's settled over millennia, gods bickering like squabbling siblings, heroes petitioning for glory, mortals praying for rain or victory. The earliest Olympic Games held in Olympia in 776 BC were dedicated to Zeus, and their champions received wreaths of olive leaves in his honor, proof that even mortals once sought to win his favor through athletic prowess. Now, in this moment, he bears an even greater burden, trusting his authority to your hands. A soft breeze drifts through the open arches, carrying the scent of mountain pine mixed with ozone, an electric tang that makes your hair stand on end. You feel the subtle vibration of a distant thunderclap, though no clouds cloak the moonlit sky overhead. It's as if Zeus's very presence summons the latent power of the storm. He clears his throat, and his voice rumbles like distant thunder, tempered by a hint of resignation. "I must step aside," he declares, each word deliberate. "For whose claim would you honor?" His gaze shifts from Hera's proud posture to Athena's steady calm, and finally to Aphrodite's luminous warmth. "I defer this judgment to you, Paris of Troy. May your choice be guided by fairness and perhaps a touch of courage. It's one thing to witness divine squabbles. It's another entirely to bear their resolution on your shoulders. The dais seems to shrink beneath your feet, and you wonder if the mountain itself will tilt if you stumble. A playful thought flits through your mind. Remind yourself to never again accept an invitation for history's sake. Without reading the fine print, Zeus turns, sweeping his gaze across the assembly. Hermes gives you a thumbs up from the sidelines, his winged sandals glinting in the torchlight. He winks in a way that suggests he's privy to some cosmic joke you're missing. Hera's peacock-eyed gaze sharpens, Athena's brow furrows in concentration, and Aphrodite's lips curve in a knowing smile. You're standing at the crossroad, where power, wisdom, and desire converge, and even the king of gods refuses to influence your verdict. A faint hum drifts through the plaza as the other deities lean in, their curiosity too great to resist. Apollo's hand drifts to his lyre, fingers twitching as if he might compose an ode on the spot. Dionysus, glass in hand, raises an eyebrow as though he's betting whether you'll choose the route of revelry or reason. Even Hestia, goddess of hearth and home, has drifted closer, her gentle presence offering a silent reminder that choices carry consequences for hearth and family alike. You feel your pulse thrumming in your ears. The cool marble underfoot is a stark contrast to the heat of expectation pressing on your back. It's as if you stand at the lip of a hidden volcano, about to tip the balance of the world below. In Troy, parents might be discussing this very moment by lamplight, unaware that their son's decision tonight will ripple through the ages. Above you, stars glitter against the velvet sky, indifferent to divine politics. Orion's belt cuts a bold path just beyond the temple roof, a reminder that even mortal patterns in the sky hold stories of heroes and hunts, stories older than memory, yet retold under every night sky. You breathe in deeply, tasting the crisp mountain air and the metallic promise of thunder. Your fingers itch to reach out, to grasp some tangible anchor in this sea of possibility. Zeus, still turned away, raises his hand in a gesture that seems both farewell and benediction. May your heart guide your hand. His voice echoes across the marble expanse, and with that, the final barrier between your mortal will and divine decree dissolves. You step forward and face Hera first, her peacock-feathered scepter gleaming at her side. The scent of jasmine emanates from her robes, heavy and heady, reminding you of lavish festivals in her honor. You can almost hear the fans of peacocks rustling deep in the groves of Argos. Hera's gaze is unwavering, regal, and you feel the pull of her promise like the tide of kingdoms rising under her command. Turning, you face Athena. The air shifts. It carries the cool scent of olive branches and heated bronze. You see echoes of the Parthenon's columns in the torchlight, and sense the quiet power of minds awakened to insight. You feel the pull of Athena's offer, as though your steps might forge new paths of knowledge and strategy across the world. Finally, you look to Aphrodite. The scent of roses and sea salt swirls around you, warm and inviting. You almost taste the sweetness of love's promise on your tongue, as though the world's greatest beauty is waiting to be shared. You feel the tug of your own heart in response, an intimate resonance that hums beneath your ribs. The crowd holds its breath, and the gods lean in, as though reading the shape of your thoughts. You sense Zeus watching from the edge of the dais, his expression unreadable. The wind picks up once more, stirring your hair and lifting the hem of your tunic. It feels as if the air itself waits for your decision, ready to carry its consequences to every corner of the earth. Your mind drifts for a moment to a curious footnote you learned long ago. Ancient metalworkers believed that the Cyclopes forged Zeus's thunderbolt in a hidden cavern beneath Mount Etna, their hammers ringing out in rhythmic strikes that echoed like heartbeats. The thunderbolt was said to contain trapped lightning, an elemental fury bound to the will of the sky god. Now that very force feels like it pulses through this moment, waiting for your verdict to unleash its full power. You close your eyes for a heartbeat, feeling the tapestry of possibility weave around you. Power and dominion, strategic wisdom, and the warmth of perfect love. Each path shimmers with promise and peril. The marble feels cool beneath your feet, grounding you in the present. The torchlight flickers golden across your closed eyelids. When you open them again, the three goddesses await your word. Zeus's thunderbolt rests behind him, silent witness to what is about to unfold. You lift your hand, and the night holds its breath with you, waiting for you to choose. You awaken not to the clamor of a king's palace, but to the muted chorus of cicadas and the gentle rustle of olive leaves overhead. The early light filters through a latticed window, painting honeyed patterns on the rough-hewn walls of your childhood hut on the slopes of Mount Ida. For a moment, you're not the prince of Troy, you're just Paris again, barefoot in the straw, fingers tracing the curves of a chipped terracotta figurine you made with trembling hands. It feels odd, this hum of simplicity, as if you've slipped beneath the skin of memory and become the boy you once were. You rise, the wooden floorboards creaking beneath you like an old defender protesting your weight. Outside, your brother's laughter drifts in tall Hector, teasing little Deiphobus about his mismatched sandals, and you can't help the faint smile that tugs at your lips. You had once been the youngest, the unexpected child of King Priam and Queen Hecuba, born under skies sown with meteor showers. The oracles said those falling stars signaled both greatness and ruin, a prophecy that would echo through your bones for years to come. As you tie your leather sash, you almost expect to see the blind seeress Cassandra hurrying past, begging you to change your fate. But you're alone in these corridors, and the present feels weightless. Stepping outside, you're greeted by the warm scent of thyme and marjoram drifting from a nearby herb garden. The courtyard beyond is calm morning. Traders are still loading amphorae onto wagons, bound for the city gate. You lean against a sun-warmed column, running your fingers over the carved relief of a lion hunting a stag, a reminder that Troy was once famed for its artistry as much as its walls. Older visitors from the Aegean lands often marveled that your city's craftsmen could coax marble into such intricate storytelling, turning stone into living myths. Your gaze drifts upward to the ramparts that stretch like a sentinel's arm around the city. Those famed walls were said to be built by the gods themselves, the labor of Poseidon intertwining with the sweat of mortal masons in the twilight of the Bronze Age. As a boy, you imagined those stones as ancient giants standing guard, their silent vigil a promise that Troy would stand immortal. You remember wanting to climb them, to rest on their broad shoulders and touch the sky. But your tutors said youth belonged to learning scrolls, not exploring battlements. You pad across the courtyard, each footstep soft against the tiled floor, and pause at the edge of a shallow pool where water lily float like pale moons. Beneath their drifting petals, fish tangle their whiskered mouths in the green shadow of stems. It's said the lea here were a gift from Aphrodite to distract wandering minds with beauty. And sometimes you wonder if even nature itself conspires to stir storms. You crouch and peer into the water, your reflection shimmering back, striped by ripples half boy, half hero in waiting. A rooster crows from a distant rooftop, and you startle, remembering that today you were meant to tend your father's sheep as part of a rite of passage. The waters recede as you step back, and you follow a narrow path between low walls draped in grapevines, heavy with grapes that will soon be pressed into sweet nectar. Each grape cluster hangs like a promise of celebration to come, yet today feels more like quiet anticipation, as if the air itself is waiting for you to cross an invisible threshold. Along the path, an old shearer is trimming lambs that bleat gentle protests at the soft tug of shears. You watch his practiced hands and think about your father's rule, how Priam balanced compassion with authority, attending council meetings by day and offering sanctuary to suppliants by night. He once negotiated peace with neighboring kingdoms over a shared meal of goat stew and fermented barley, an approach that seems both humble and wise. The memory makes you inhale the faint smokiness of the hearth fire drifting on the breeze, and you imagine your father's calm voice guiding you through the knot of your destiny. A breeze carries the sound of distant Bell's cattle being led to fresh pastures below. You follow the melody to find your own flock grazing on sunlit grass. Each sheep lifts its head as you approach, nibbling at tufts of clover. You kneel and run a hand through the wool of your favorite, an old Away named Sappho, whose odd habit is chewing on scraps of parchment dropped by your tutor. You laugh softly. It's a strange quirk for a sheep, but fitting for this land of poets and prophets that one of their own digest poetry quite literally. You straighten and herd the sheep along, guiding them toward the greener slopes, where time hides between stones. Your tunic billows around your calves, and the sun warms your shoulders. Up here, the wind carries the sound of waves breaking against Troy's beaches, mingled with the low drone of fishing boats heading out to sea. You know those waters better than most, having played on their pebbled shores as a child, skipping stones, chasing crabs, and watching gulls shore dive for fish. Those days felt endless. Every sunset a promise of tomorrow's freedom. Yet freedom has a price. You recall your mother's anxious face when she first heard rumors of a Greek armada gathering on the horizon. Sails like a flock of seabirds poised to descend. She locked herself in prayer for days, and the palace priests poured libations of honey and wine into sacrificial urns. You remember her trembling hands pressing a bouquet of myrtle into your tunic pocket, a token said to keep falsehood at bay. You still carry a sprig of that myrtle, its leaves pressed between parchment pages, their scent faint but persistent beneath your cloak. As the sheep settle to graze, you pause beneath an ancient oak, whose trunk is wide as a column. Its bark is scarred with initials and offerings, arrows set in the wood, scraps of cloth tied around protruding roots. It stands as a silent witness to countless vows, lovers pledging eternal devotion, warriors seeking courage, mothers wishing blessings on newborns. You reach out and trail a finger over a faded knot of linen, thinking how many secrets these rings of sap and wood have held. You press your palm against the trunk, feeling the pulse of life within, and for a moment you're both the boy who dreamed of destiny and the man who will one day embody it. A sudden breeze rattles the leaves above you, and you glance upward just in time to see a squirrel leap across a branch, carrying an acorn as if it were a royal seal. You can't help but chuckle. Nature's antics often remind you that beyond prophecies and golden apples, life still holds simple joys. For now you're content to shepherd sheep and linger in the hush of morning, aware that every step you take here lays the groundwork for the legend you can't yet grasp. You straighten, brushing straw from your sleeves, and look toward the city gates, where the morning sun sparkles off bronze armor and merchants unfurl bright textiles. Today, you're not merely Paris of Troy. You're a dreamer tethered to the earth by his own memories, standing at the cusp of who you might become. A bird calls from the oak, and you lift your gaze, heart swelling with the quiet promise of what's to come. You draw a deep breath of time-scented air, the warmth of the sun on your face, and you know that soon the world will call you to greater things. But for now, you remain here in the gentle cradle of home, the hill's grass soft beneath your feet, the sheep's breath warm against your cheek. In this stillness you find a tether and anchor of self before the storms of fate gather. You wander further from the city's familiar bustle into the soft embrace of Mount Ida's wild slopes, where the scent of earth and pine mingles with the distant brine of the sea. The sun dapples through twisted olive trees, casting lace-like shadows over the mossy stones beneath your feet. You feel the cool breeze brushing against your skin, carrying the faint hum of bees busy among the wildflowers, a sound so ordinary, yet somehow grounding amid the swirl of divine affairs looming just beyond the horizon. Your shepherd's staff feels reassuring in your hand, its polished wood worn smooth by years of guiding flocks through rugged terrain. You tread carefully along a narrow path, flanked by rosemary and sage, herbs that the local villagers swear ward off evil spirits and sharpen the mind. The soft crunch of gravel underfoot accompanies the low murmurs of sheep scattered across the hillside, their fleeces puffed like clouds against the vibrant greens and ochres of the land. As you pause near a babbling brook, you dip your fingers into the cool, clear water. The gentle current slips through your grasp, cold and refreshing, and you drink deeply, savoring the crispness. The small fish dart just beneath the surface, silver flashes moving like liquid light. Somewhere nearby, a tortoise ambles slowly through the underbrush, its steady pace a quiet reminder that even in a world marked by gods and heroes, patience endures. You lean against a sun-warmed rock, your eyes closing as you listen to the symphony of nature, the buzz of insects, the rustling leaves, the distant cry of a hawk circling overhead. For a moment, time seems to slow, and the weight of prophecy feels distant. It's easy to forget that you're the Prince of Troy when the world's vastness presses in around you, wrapping you in its ancient, unhurried rhythms. The scent of wild thyme fills your nostrils, sharp and sweet, mingling with the faint trace of burnt wood from a nearby hearth. You catch the faint murmur of village life below. Children's laughter, the clinking of pots, the steady cadence of a loom weaving wool into cloth. It's a patchwork of moments, simple yet profound, stitched into the fabric of daily existence. Your thoughts drift to the lessons of your tutors, who often spoke of the gods as capricious beings, their favors shifting like clouds. They warned that you should neither seek their blessings too eagerly, nor dismiss their wrath too lightly. Yet here, amid the earth and sky, you feel a calm confidence, row a stillness that whispers the world's truths lie not just in the heavens, but beneath your own feet. A sudden flutter draws your gaze upward to a cluster of butterflies dancing among wildflowers. Their delicate wings shimmer with iridescent blues and purples, like jewels caught in sunlight. You watch as one alights on a leaf nearby, still and perfect, its presence a fleeting gift. You recall an old saying that the soul of a hero is like a butterfly, fragile but destined to soar. The thought brings a soft smile to your lips. Nearby, a shepherd's horn echoes from a distant ridge, calling the flocks to gather before nightfall. You gather your own sheep, their woolly bodies brushing against your legs as they follow your lead. The cool mountain air settles around you like a cloak, carrying the promise of rest and renewal. As dusk approaches, the sky softens into hues of rose and gold, the last light filtering through olive branches. You find a quiet ledge overlooking the valley below, where the city's rooftops glimmer faintly in the gathering twilight. The horizon stretches wide and endless, a canvas waiting for the brush strokes of fate. You breathe in the crisp air, feeling the pulse of the earth beneath you, steady and endearing. The flocks settle into peaceful murmurs, and you close your eyes, letting the calm seep into your bones. Tomorrow will bring new challenges, decisions heavier than the stones beneath your feet, but for now, you are content in this fleeting peace, the gentle pause before the story unfolds. You stand at the edge of a quiet grove when suddenly the air shifts. 3 figures approach, each radiant and distinct, moving with the effortless grace that only immortals possess. Their presence settles over you like the first warmth of dawn, but beneath their beauty lies a charge of tension you can almost taste, like the electric calm before a summer storm. They are Hera, Athena, and Aphrodite, each cloaked in splendor yet bristling with quiet determination. Hera's robes sweep the ground in rich, regal folds, embroidered with peacock feathers that seem to shimmer with every step. You catch the subtle scent of jasmine and myrrh, a fragrance that commands attention and respect. Her eyes hold the fire of sovereignty and a promise of power that makes the very earth beneath you hum with possibility. She smiles, a slow, measured curve of lips that speaks of kingdoms, and the unyielding grip of authority. Athena walks with the calm assurance of one who has mastered both war and wisdom. Her armor gleams with a muted brilliance, each piece perfectly balanced between strength and elegance. The faint aroma of olive oil and heated bronze trails behind her, conjuring images of great temples and battlefields where her counsel turned tides. You feel the steady pulse of her presence, a beacon of clarity in a world rife with chaos. Then Aphrodite arrives, a living embodiment of beauty and desire. Her hair cascades like molten gold, catching the sunlight and scattering it in waves of warmth. The air around her is heavy with the scent of roses and sea salt, intoxicating and soft. Her eyes sparkle with a mischievous light, as if she holds secrets of love and longing that could unravel the most steadfast hearts. You sense an irresistible allure, a promise of passion and the power of attraction that can bend even the strongest wills. Each goddess steps forward, presenting herself before you in turn, their expressions a complex mix of hope, challenge, and quiet command. They offer no words at first, letting the weight of their presence speak volumes. You feel the space between you charged with unspoken promises and the gravity of choice. Hera extends a hand, the glint of a golden ring catching the sunlight. You imagine the sweep of her influence, thrones, empires, the devotion of countless subjects bowing in reverence. Her power feels vast and unshakable, like the mountains that surround you, ancient and enduring. Athena's gaze meets yours with a sharpness that pierces the soul. She gestures toward a small owl perched nearby, its keen eyes reflecting wisdom beyond mortal years. Her offer is clear: insight, strategy, and the ability to outthink any foe, shaping fate itself with the deftness of a master tactician. The image of the Parthenon rises in your mind, a monument to the marriage of intellect and artistry. Aphrodite's smile deepens, and you feel the warmth of her promise settle like a gentle fire within your chest. She speaks softly, her voice a melody that stirs the heart. Her gift is the love of the world's most beautiful woman, a bond that could inspire legends and kindle the flames of passion across kingdoms. The allure of such a connection humbles and excites you in equal measure. As the goddesses await your response, you become acutely aware of the weight pressing on your shoulders. Each path is laden with rewards and risks, a delicate balance of desire, duty, and destiny. The air thickens with expectation, the world holding its breath as your mind races through possibilities. You glance at the golden apple resting nearby, its smooth surface reflecting the three faces before you. It gleams like a beacon, a symbol of choice and consequence. Your fingers twitch, the urge to reach out mingling with the knowledge that this moment will reverberate through history. You swallow hard, feeling the first stirrings of doubt and resolve intertwined. The goddess's eyes lock onto yours, patient yet intense, as if they can see the very workings of your heart. The gentle rustle of olive leaves around you is suddenly louder, as if nature itself leans in to witness your decision. Time seems to stretch and fold, the boundaries between mortal and divine blurring in the twilight. You inhale deeply, savoring the mingled scents of jasmine, olive, and rose. The world narrows to this sacred space, this eternal instant where your verdict will shape the stories sung by poets for centuries. Your heart beats steadily now, each thump a drum signaling the dawn of fate. The goddesses wait, the golden apple gleams, and you prepare to cast the die that will echo through the ages. You lean in as Hera begins her plea, her voice rich and commanding, carrying the weight of empires and the whispered promise of absolute power. Her words paint visions of sprawling kingdoms under your rule, cities that rise and fall at your command, and armies that march with unyielding loyalty. You can almost hear the rhythmic pounding of hooves, the clashing of bronze shields, and the roar of crowds in colossal arenas dedicated to your name. Her presence fills the air like the scent of burning incense in a great temple, powerful and intoxicating. Her gaze fixes on you with an intensity that makes the hairs on your arms stand on end. It's the kind of authority that could silence a room with a single glance, the kind that demands respect without question. You imagine yourself seated on a throne carved from ivory and gold, the weight of a crown heavy but exhilarating. Her offer isn't just a gift. It's a legacy of dominion stretching across time, a place among the greatest rulers whose names are etched into history. Yet beneath the grandeur, there's a quiet edge and unspoken warning that power comes with sacrifice. The lives you would shape and command are also lives you might have to break. The throne's splendor casts long shadows, and you wonder if you could bear the loneliness that often accompanies such heights. As Hera's words fade, Athena steps forward with a contrasting energy, cool, precise, and unyielding. Her voice is calm but resolute, carrying the certainty of knowledge and the clarity of purpose. She speaks of wisdom as a shield and sword, of battles won not just by strength, but by strategy and insight. You see in your mind's eye armies maneuvering with perfect coordination, cities fortified against siege, and leaders guided by your counsel toward peace or conquest. Athena's promise is one of lasting influence, shaping the world not through raw force but through intellect and vision. You feel the allure of becoming a master tactician, a thinker whose decisions ripple through generations. Her presence is steady, like the unwavering flame of an eternal torch that lights the darkest paths. Her words remind you of the delicate balance between war and peace, and the power held by those who can navigate both with wisdom. The weight of responsibility presses gently but firmly on your shoulders, offering both challenge and honor. Then Aphrodite approaches, her presence a warm breeze in the cool night. Her voice is soft, almost hypnotic, filled with the promise of beauty and desire. She offers a love so profound it transcends time, a bond with the world's most beautiful woman, whose very name inspires awe and longing. You feel a flutter deep in your chest as she speaks, the kind of emotion that poets chase and heroes fight to possess. Her gift is different from power or wisdom. It's a force that can inspire kingdoms to rise and armies to falter. Love can create alliances or ignite wars, bending fate in unpredictable ways. You sense the intoxicating pull of this promise, a fire that warms but can also burn. Aphrodite's smile holds a secret one that hints at the complexities of passion and the sacrifices it demands. The night air carries the scent of roses and salt, mingling in a delicate dance, as if the sea itself whispers her name. You stand at the crossroads, caught between the grandeur of rule, the sharpness of wisdom, and the intoxicating allure of love. Each promise shines with its own light, drawing you toward different futures. The golden apple gleams beside you, the symbol of your choice, its surface reflecting the faces of the goddesses with mesmerizing clarity. Your heart pounds in your ears as the moment stretches, the weight of destiny settling around you like a mantle. You realize that your decision will ripple beyond this place, shaping not only your fate, but the course of empires and the hearts of mortals for ages to come. You take a steadying breath, feeling the cool marble beneath your feet and the soft rustle of leaves above. The gods watch silently, the air thick with anticipation. You reach out, your fingers trembling slightly as they close around the golden apple, its smooth surface warm against your skin. With a deep exhale, you lift the apple high, your gaze locking onto the goddess whose promise calls to you most fiercely. The path you choose will ignite legends, forge alliances, and unleash passions that echo through time. You steady your voice, ready to cast the die that will bind your destiny and set the world's stories into motion. Athena's voice rings with quiet confidence as she steps forward, her presence commanding yet calm. She speaks not with the fire of conquest, but with the steady flame of reason, promising you the clarity to navigate the chaos of war and the wisdom to inspire heroes. You feel the coolness of her breath, like the gentle rustle of olive leaves stirred by a light breeze. Her offer is not merely to guide armies, but to shape the minds of those who follow, to craft victories born of insight rather than brute force. You imagine sitting among strategists in a war council, maps spread wide, decisions balancing on the edge of a spear. The weight of responsibility feels tangible yet empowering. Athena's gaze is steady, her expression revealing the deep understanding that true strength lies not in might alone, but in intellect and foresight. The soft glint of her spear catches the torchlight, a symbol of sharpness and precision. She recounts tales of heroes she once guided, men who carved their names into legend not through reckless valor, but through cunning and patience. Her voice weaves a tapestry of battlefield brilliance, where every move is deliberate, every risk calculated. You can almost hear the clash of bronze and the steady chant of disciplined ranks, the subtle communication of glances and gestures that turn tides. Athena's presence feels like a shield against chaos, a beacon for those lost in the fog of conflict. You sense the calm determination that can steady even the most tempestuous hearts, the kind that turns fear into resolve. Her promise offers a legacy not of fleeting glory, but of enduring influence. The torchlight flickers as she steps back, her eyes never leaving yours. You feel the weight of her counsel settle deep within you, a quiet challenge to rise above mere impulse and seek mastery over yourself and the world. In that moment, you recognize that wisdom is not a passive gift, but a calling, a lifelong journey that demands courage and discipline. The choice before you crystallizes into a question. Will you wield your power with the sharp edge of intellect, carving a path through darkness with reason and foresight? You look at the golden apple in your hand, its surface catching the firelight like a small sun. The faces of the goddesses shimmer in its polished sheen, reflections of paths not taken and futures yet to be written. Athena's promise resonates within you, a steady drumbeat beneath the tempest of emotion. You breathe deeply, the cool night air filling your lungs, and feel the slow unfolding of clarity. Your fingers tighten around the apple, the moment hanging suspended between possibility and destiny. You know that your choice will send ripples across the mortal world, shaping not only battles, but the hearts and minds of generations. As Athena's eyes meet yours, you find a strange comfort in her steady gaze, a reminder that wisdom, like the olive tree, grows slowly but bears fruit that lasts beyond the storm. You prepare to weigh her promise against the others, feeling the gravity of the moment deepen. The gods watch in silence, the night around you still except for the soft whisper of leaves. You stand poised on the threshold of fate, caught between the power to command, the clarity to understand, and the passion to desire. The golden apple, gleams in your palm, waiting for your decision to set the wheels of destiny turning. Aphrodite steps forward with a smile that seems to light the entire clearing, her presence radiating warmth and allure. Her voice is soft yet compelling, weaving a spell that wraps around your heart and mind like a gentle tide. She offers not power or wisdom, but the gift of love, a love so potent and beautiful that it will change everything you know. You can almost feel the breath of the sea in the air, the salt mingling with the fragrance of fresh roses, creating a scent that is both intoxicating and tender. She tells you of a woman, the most beautiful mortal to have ever lived, whose name alone stirs longing in gods and men alike. This love, she promises, will be a bond that transcends worlds, a passion that will inspire songs and legends for generations. You sense the pull of her words deep within you, a stirring in your chest that feels like the first flutter of a flame. Aphrodite's eyes sparkle with mischief and hope, as if daring you to grasp this chance for a love that could alter the course of fate itself. The warmth of her presence wraps around you like a summer evening breeze, gentle and yet undeniably powerful. You feel the soft pulse of possibility, the promise of a connection that could unite kingdoms or spark conflicts. Love, she reminds you, is both the softest caress and the fiercest fire, a force that shapes destinies as surely as any sword or crown. You glance down at the golden apple in your hand, the smooth surface catching the flicker of torchlight. The reflections of the goddesses shimmer like waves on a sunlit sea. Aphrodite's promise hums within you, a melody that contrasts with the thunder of power and the sharp clarity of wisdom. Her offer feels personal and profound, a chance to step into a story written in the hearts of mortals and immortals alike. As you consider her words, you feel a surge of emotion, hope, fear, desire, all mingling in a heady rush. The world seems to narrow to this moment, the golden apple heavy in your palm as if it carries the weight of every choice you will ever make. You realize that love, like fate, is unpredictable and wild, capable of both creation and destruction. The goddesses wait patiently, their eyes fixed on you with a mixture of anticipation and respect. The night air grows still, the only sound the soft rustle of leaves and the distant murmur of the sea. You stand at the crossroads of destiny, the choice before you more than a simple decision. It is a turning point that will shape stories, hearts, and histories yet unwritten. You close your eyes briefly, feeling the pulse of the earth beneath your feet and the steady beat of your own heart. The golden apple glows softly in the torchlight, a beacon calling you to embrace a path filled with passion and promise. The world holds its breath, waiting for you to cast your lot and step into the story that will echo through time. With a steadying breath, you prepare to speak, knowing that the choice you make will ripple across realms and ignite legends. Love, power, or wisdom, the threads of fate lie intertwined, and your hand holds the loom. You stand frozen, the golden apple heavy in your palm as the weight of your decision presses down like a mountain. Your thoughts swirl in a tempest, each goddess's promise pulling at your heart with a fierce tug. Power that could shape empires, wisdom that could steer the course of battles, and love so profound it could alter the very fabric of your existence. The night air around you feels thick, charged with anticipation and silent expectation. You glance up at the three goddesses, their expressions a kaleidoscope of hope, challenge, and patience. Hera's eyes burn with the fire of authority. Athena's gaze is steady and piercing, and Aphrodite's smile flickers with both warmth and mystery. They stand poised, waiting for you to choose, but you feel caught in a moment that stretches beyond the boundaries of time. Your mind drifts inward, replaying the faces of those you hold dear, your family, your people. You think of the weight of their hopes resting on your shoulders and the uncertain road that lies ahead. The promise of power gleams like a distant city on a hill, majestic but lonely. Wisdom offers a path of clarity and control that demands patience and sacrifice. Love whispers like a secret song, sweet but unpredictable, carrying both joy and the risk of heartbreak. The sky above begins to deepen into a richer shade of indigo, stars flickering like ancient watchers in the dark. A gentle breeze stirs the olive branches around you, and you can almost hear their soft rustle as a voice urging you toward a choice. Your breath comes slow and steady as you let your hand relax, feeling the smoothness of the apple beneath your fingertips. You remember stories of heroes who wrestled with fate, caught between duty and desire, strength and vulnerability. You recall the countless poets who would one day sing of this very moment, capturing the tension and the turning point in verses that would echo through time. Your heart pounds like a steady drumbeat, a rhythm that anchors you in the present even as your thoughts race toward an uncertain future. You realize that this choice is more than a gift or a favor. It is a crossroads where destiny, character, and consequence converge. With a soft exhale, you lift your gaze, meeting the eyes of the goddess whose promise sings loudest within you. Your fingers close around the apple, a quiet resolve settling over you like a cloak. The moment crystallizes into clarity, your path is chosen. The goddesses hold their breath, the world around you still, as if time itself waits for your voice. The golden apple gleams in your hand, a beacon of fate and consequence, ready to seal your judgment and set the story into motion. You open your mouth to speak, the words falling from your lips like a single decisive note that will reverberate through history. Your voice breaks the charged silence as you pronounce your choice, a single word that echoes through the marble halls and ripples across the night air. The golden apple feels heavier in your hand, as if it absorbed the weight of the destiny you have just set into motion. The goddesses' faces reflect a burst of emotion, triumph, acceptance, and a spark of something unspoken. You watch as Aphrodite's laughter spills out, light and melodic, filling the space with warmth and a soft golden glow. Her victory is palpable, a tide that washes over the courtyard and settles like rose petals on the breeze. Her eyes shine with pride and promise, a goddess who knows the power of desire and its ability to shape the fate of gods and mortals alike. A gentle warmth spreads through you, as if the very air has shifted, thickening with possibility. You sense that the course of your life and the world beyond is now intertwined with the threads of love and passion. The promise of a bond so powerful it can inspire epics and ignite wars is no longer distant, but drawn close, pulsing at the center of your being. Around you, the gods and mortals who witness this moment hold their breath, caught between awe and apprehension. The faint murmur of the sea drifts in from afar, mingling with the rustle of olive leaves and the soft crackle of torch flames. The night seems to shimmer with expectancy, the first spark of a story destined to be retold for centuries. You feel the weight of your choice settling deep inside you, both thrilling and daunting. The path of love is not without its shadows. The risks of jealousy, heartbreak, and the unraveling of peace loom like storm clouds on the horizon. But in this moment, those dangers are eclipsed by the dazzling light of possibility. You sense Aphrodite's presence enveloping you, a tender yet powerful force that stirs your heart and sharpens your senses. The world around you seems brighter, the scents richer, the perfume of roses, the salt of the sea, the promise of new beginnings. Your breath comes steady, your pulse syncing with the rhythm of an unfolding destiny. As the goddess steps closer, her eyes locking with yours, you understand that this choice will ripple far beyond the summit of Olympus, touching lives and shaping events in ways you cannot yet fully grasp. The journey ahead will be one of passion and peril, of alliances forged and broken, of a love that will define the ages. You lower your hand, the golden apple resting now as a symbol of your decision, its glow soft but unwavering. The goddesses step back, their expressions a mixture of respect and acknowledgement. The stage is set, the players in place, and the first notes of a timeless saga begin to play. You take a deep breath, feeling the thrill of anticipation coursing through you. The judgment of Paris has been made, and the world holds its breath for what comes next. You feel Aphrodite's laughter ripple through the air, light and infectious, carrying the promise of a new dawn, painted in shades of rose and gold. Her joy is like the first warmth of spring after a long winter, a melody that dances on the breeze and settles into your bones. Around you, the atmosphere shifts, the heavy tension dissolving into a soft, radiant glow. The world seems to lean in, eager to witness the blossoming of a story that will weave itself into the very fabric of legend. As Aphrodite's victory washes over the summit, you sense the invisible threads of fate tightening around your heart. It's a delicate, thrilling pressure, like holding a flame that could either light the way or set the forest ablaze. You feel the surge of power that comes with love's promise, a force both tender and unstoppable, capable of inspiring the greatest acts and the deepest sacrifices. The gods around you exchange glances, some smiles tinged with knowing, others shadowed by the weight of what this choice will bring. Even Hera and Athena, fierce rivals moments ago, seem to accept the verdict with a grudging grace, their eyes reflecting the complex dance of respect and rivalry that defines their immortal roles. You turn your gaze inward, feeling the steady beat of your heart against the pulse of the world. The scent of roses and salt lingers in the air, mingling with the soft rustle of olive branches stirred by a gentle breeze. The courtyard feels alive with possibility, every corner humming with the first notes of a saga that will echo through time. Aphrodite's eyes meet yours once more, filled with a mixture of warmth and mischief. It's a look that promises both the sweetness of love's embrace and the sharp edges of its trials. You realize that your choice has set a course neither you nor the gods can fully predict. A journey marked by passion, conflict, and the eternal human yearning for connection. You take a deep breath, grounding yourself in the moment even as the future unfurls like a vast, unwritten scroll. The golden apple rests in your hand, its glow soft but unwavering, a symbol of the path you have chosen and the destiny you now carry. Around you, the chorus of Olympus begins to rise again, voices blending in a harmony of celebration and contemplation. The stars above twinkle like ancient witnesses, their light steady and eternal, as they watch the unfolding of a story that will outlast empires and echo in the hearts of all who hear it. You smile softly, feeling the weight and wonder of your decision settling into a quiet resolve. The judgment of Paris is complete, and with it, the stage is set for the tales yet to come, tales of love and war, of heroes and legends. of a world forever changed by a single golden apple. You find yourself standing at the edge of a great journey, heart pounding with a mixture of anticipation and uncertainty. The air around you hums with a new energy, one shaped by your choice and charged with the promise of what lies ahead. You know the path will lead you away from the familiar comforts of Troy and into the tangled web of fate spun by gods and mortals alike. As you prepare to meet Helen, the world seems to hold its breath, waiting for the moment when two destinies will collide. You can feel the weight of stories yet to be told pressing in on your shoulders, a heavy but exhilarating burden. The scent of sea salt and blooming flowers fills the air, mingling with the distant murmur of waves against the shore. Your steps carry you towards Sparta, a land known for its strength and discipline. Yet beneath its stoic surface lies a beauty both fierce and fragile. The journey unfolds with winding paths through olive groves and sun-dappled valleys, each step drawing you closer to a meeting that will change everything. You notice the subtle signs of the land, the way the olive trees bend with the breeze, the soft chatter of birds hidden among the branches, the quiet rhythm of village life humming in the distance. There's a peacefulness here that contrasts sharply with the storm gathering on the horizon, a reminder of the delicate balance between calm and chaos. As you walk, your mind drifts to the stories of Spartan warriors, known not only for their prowess in battle, but for the rigorous training that shaped them. Their discipline and loyalty are legendary, yet you sense a deeper complexity beneath the hardened exterior, a people shaped by duty and honor, much like yourself. You pause to drink from a clear spring, the water cool and refreshing against your lips. The sun warms your skin, and you breathe deeply, savoring the moment before the journey's demands intensify. The path ahead is uncertain, shadowed by the choices you've made, but filled with the raw potential of new beginnings. Ahead, the fortified gates of Sparta rise against the sky, their stone walls strong and imposing. You sense the vigilance of guards standing watch, the discipline etched into every aspect of the city. Yet beyond the walls, you glimpse gardens bursting with color, laughter spilling from open windows, and the quiet hum of life unfolding despite the ever-present shadow of conflict. You steady yourself, heart beating steadily, and step forward to meet the fate that awaits you. The road to Helen is not just a journey across lands, but a passage into legend, a crossing from boyhood into the realm of heroes and gods. With each step, you feel the pulse of destiny quicken, the threads of love, war, and honor weaving tighter around your life. The horizon stretches wide and endless before you, a canvas waiting for the brush strokes of your story to leave their mark. You walk along a dusty road lined with twisted olive trees whose gnarled branches seem to reach out like ancient sentinels. The sun beats gently on your back, and the scent of wild herbs, oregano, thyme, and rosemary fills the air with an earthy perfume. Your boots crunch over scattered pebbles as you make your way toward Sparta, a city-state known as much for its discipline as for its peculiar customs. As you approach the outskirts, you catch sight of villagers gathered around wooden tables, sampling foods that seem foreign yet inviting. You notice a dish made from boiled goat's milk cheese, soft and crumbly, accompanied by bitter herbs, an acquired taste that Spartans swear by for strength and endurance. Nearby, baskets overflow with dried figs and salted fish, staples of the Spartan diet that sustain warriors through long days of training. You pause, savoring the salty tang of the sea breeze that drifts inland from the coast, carrying with it the distant calls of fishermen mending their nets. The laughter of children echoes from a nearby courtyard where young boys engage in a game resembling a rougher, more strategic form of wrestling. Their competitive shouts and grunts are underscored by the watchful eyes of elder mentors who step in with firm but fair corrections. Spartan upbringing is nothing if not disciplined. A peculiar custom catches your attention. A group of women weaving intricate patterns on large looms, their hands moving with practiced precision. They speak quietly of the annual festival of Hyacinthus, a celebration filled with ritual dances and solemn offerings, honoring both beauty and loss. The intertwining of joy and sorrow in their stories reminds you that even the hardest lives hold space for grace and remembrance. You continue toward the city gates, where stoic guards clad in bronze helmets stand like statues, their expressions unreadable beneath their visors. The walls behind them rise high, built to withstand the fiercest assaults. Yet you sense an unspoken tension, a readiness for conflict that colors the air with a faint undercurrent of urgency. As you pass through the gates, you feel the palpable order of Sparta pressing in the straight lines of streets, the sparse yet purposeful architecture, the murmurs of citizens moving with intent. There is a quiet strength here, an unyielding resolve that speaks of generations forged in hardship and unity. You take a moment to breathe in the cool shade of a colonnade, the scent of burning olive oil from nearby lamps mingling with the distant clang of blacksmiths at work. The city's heartbeat is steady, disciplined, and full of latent power. Ahead lies the palace, its stone walls adorned with frescoes depicting battles and gods. You steel yourself, knowing the moment to meet Helen, the woman whose beauty has set worlds aflame, is drawing near. Your thoughts whirl, a mixture of excitement and apprehension, as the path beneath your feet narrows to a single point where fate awaits. You step forward, each pace bringing you closer to a moment that will ripple across time, a meeting that will ignite passion and peril in equal measure. You arrive at the gates of Sparta just as the sun dips low, bathing the city in a warm amber glow. The heavy wooden doors, bound with iron, stand resolute against the fading light, guarded by sentries whose eyes gleam with sharp vigilance. You can sense the city's rigid discipline even from this distance. The echo of footsteps measured and deliberate, the soft clink of armor rehearsed into routine. The air is thick with a mixture of scents, the smoky aroma of hearth fires, the sharp tang of metal from nearby workshops, and the faint perfume of blooming jasmine climbing stone walls. Your footsteps slow as you take in the city's quiet strength, a fortress of order nestled among fertile lands. The streets are clean, swept by hands trained in meticulous care, and the stone buildings stand tall, their simplicity speaking volumes of Spartan austerity. You feel the gaze of the guards as you approach, their stony expressions unreadable, and you can't help but admire the discipline etched into every line of their posture. They assess you with the practiced eye of those who have seen countless travelers, but reveal nothing. The gates creak open with a measured groan, admitting you into the city's inner sanctum. Inside, the shadows stretch longer, and the bustle of the day fades into a hushed rhythm of evening rituals. Torches flicker against the walls, casting a dance of light and shadow over courtyards and colonnades. You catch glimpses of figures moving silently, their silhouettes sharp and purposeful, as if even the night demands Spartan resolve. Your path leads you toward a grand stone palace, adorned with sculpted reliefs, scenes of battles fought with valor, of gods and heroes intertwined in destiny. The heavy scent of burning olive oil fills the air, mingling with the subtle sweetness of fresh herbs strewn across the marble floors. You inhale deeply, grounding yourself in the moment before what you know will be a meeting that changes everything. As you step inside, the atmosphere shifts. The grandeur of the palace envelops you. Tapestries rich with crimson and gold hang from the walls, their threads shimmering in the torchlight. You hear soft footsteps echoing on polished stone and catch the faintest murmur of voices carried through the halls. The weight of history and expectation settles over you like a mantle. Ahead, a figure appears radiant, poised, and breathtaking. The very air seems to shimmer around her, as if the light itself bends to honor her presence. Your breath catches as you take in Helen's beauty, the kind that legends whisper about in hushed tones. She moves with grace and confidence, each step a testament to the power that beauty wields. Her eyes meet yours, and for a moment the world narrows to this space between you, a fragile thread where fate and desire intertwine. The promise of love, the pull of destiny, and the shadow of impending conflict hang in the balance. You feel the thrum of your heart, a steady rhythm echoing the ancient stories that have led to this very instant. The silence holds a charge, a breath suspended before the inevitable unfolding. The meeting of Paris and Helen is not just a convergence of two lives, but a spark that will ignite a chain of events beyond imagining. You take a step forward, ready to cross the threshold into legend. Your breath catches as Helen steps closer, the light playing upon her like a living flame. Her hair cascades in waves, each strand shimmering with the softness of spun gold. Her eyes, deep and fathomless, hold a mixture of curiosity and quiet strength, as if she carries the weight of countless stories within their depths. The faintest smile touches her lips, an invitation and a challenge all at once. The scent of her presence fills the space, subtle notes of jasmine and honey, mingling with the faintest whisper of sea salt, evoking distant shores and sun-drenched mornings. You feel a sudden warmth spread through you, as if the very air between you has thickened with something ancient and powerful. It's more than beauty. It's the kind of presence that shifts the balance of a room, commanding attention without effort. Around you, the world seems to pause. The flicker of torchlight softens. Footsteps echo more gently, and even the distant murmur of voices fades into a hush. Your senses sharpen. The slight rustle of silk, the delicate clink of a bracelet, the subtle breath of anticipation hanging in the air. Every detail etches itself into your memory, as though this moment were carved from time itself. Helen's gaze holds yours, steady and unflinching, and you find yourself drawn into the depths of her eyes. There's a complexity there, joy and sorrow, strength and vulnerability, woven together like threads in a tapestry. You realize that beneath her radiant exterior lies a story untold, a heart both fierce and fragile. She steps closer still, her movements fluid and deliberate, closing the distance between you with the grace of a dancer. You can feel the quickening of your pulse, the steady beat that anchors you even as your thoughts whirl. The promise of something profound hangs between you, fragile yet undeniable. As she speaks, her voice is soft, like a melody that drifts on a gentle breeze. Her words carry warmth and an unspoken invitation, stirring feelings you hadn't fully recognized until now. The air around you seems to shimmer with possibility, the quiet tension of new beginnings poised on the edge of a breath. You notice the delicate curve of her smile deepen, a hint of mischief and promise that makes your heart leap. It's a smile that hints at both joy and challenge, a dance between light and shadow. You realize that this meeting is more than chance. It is the spark that will ignite a tale of love and conflict passion and consequence. For a moment, time seems to fold in on itself, and the world narrows to just the two of you, caught in the delicate balance of fate. You breathe in deeply, savoring the richness of the moment, the scent, the light, the electric connection that pulses like a heartbeat. Helen's eyes hold yours a moment longer, and in that gaze, you glimpse the unfolding story that awaits, the intertwining of destinies, the weaving of legends, the first step on a path that will shape the ages. You find yourself ready to step into that story, to walk forward hand in hand with fate itself. You stand close enough to feel the warmth radiating from Helen's skin, the subtle heat that seems to pulse beneath her graceful movements. The air between you is charged, a delicate tension that hums like the first breath of a storm. Her eyes flicker with a light that is at once playful and profound, and you realize that you are witnessing more than mere beauty. You are seeing a force of nature, a living embodiment of desire and destiny intertwined. She speaks, her voice a soft murmur that carries the weight of centuries. Each word is carefully chosen, laced with the promise of something more than words can capture. You listen, captivated by the melody of her speech, the cadence that seems to echo ancient songs sung beneath the stars. Her laughter spills forth like a stream, light and clear, and you feel yourself drawn deeper into the moment, caught in the spell of her presence. The scent of her hair, fresh with jasmine and salt, mingles with the warmth of the room, wrapping around you like a silken veil. You reach out instinctively, your fingers brushing against the soft fabric of her garment, feeling the texture beneath your touch, a delicate weave that seems to shimmer with the light of the evening. The brush of her skin against your hand sends a shiver through you, awakening a tide of emotions you hadn't expected. Around you, the palace hums with quiet life. Flickering torches cast shadows that dance along the walls, painting the space with flickers of gold and amber. You catch glimpses of courtiers and servants moving through the halls, their footsteps muffled but purposeful. The atmosphere is thick with anticipation, the kind that precedes great change and momentous decisions. Helen's gaze holds yours, her eyes reflecting a world of complexity beneath their luminous surface. There is strength there, a resolve tempered by experience and wisdom, yet also a vulnerability that touches something deep within you. You feel as if you are standing at the edge of an ocean, poised to dive into depths both exhilarating and unknown. She steps closer, the scent of roses and sea salt intensifying as her breath mingles with yours. The warmth of her presence envelops you, a gentle yet undeniable force that stirs the air and quickens your pulse. You sense the beginning of a bond, fragile and new, yet charged with the power to reshape your world. The room seems to fade away, leaving only the two of you suspended in time. Every sound, every movement sharpens and becomes more profound. You can hear the steady beat of your own heart, the soft rustle of silk, the faintest sigh escaping her lips. It's a symphony of senses that plays out in the quiet space between words and glances. Your hands find hers, fingers intertwining with a natural ease that feels both familiar and miraculous. The connection sparks like a live wire, sending warmth rushing through your veins. You realize that this moment is more than chance. It is the crossing of paths destined to converge, a meeting that will set the wheels of fate in motion. Helen's smile deepens, a secret shared only between you, and you feel the world tilt slightly, as if gravity itself bends to the force of this new beginning. The promise of love, with all its complexities and contradictions, wraps around you like a cloak, comforting and exhilarating in equal measure. You breathe in the scent of her hair once more, letting it fill your senses and steady your mind. The room seems to pulse with possibility, the air thick with the unspoken vows that hang between you. You understand with a clarity that is both thrilling and terrifying that your lives are now intertwined in ways that will echo through time. A faint breeze stirs the curtains, casting shifting patterns of light and shadow over your joined hands. You feel the steady rhythm of Helen's heartbeat beneath your touch, a soft drum that anchors you in the present, even as your thoughts race ahead to the uncertain future. The fire in the hearth flickers, sending sparks upward like fleeting stars. You realize that this is the beginning of a story that will be told and retold of passion and sacrifice, of loyalty and betrayal, of love that conquers and love that destroys. Your choice has set this tale in motion, and there is no turning back. You close your eyes briefly, savoring the moment, the connection, the delicate thread that binds you. When you open them again, Helen's gaze meets yours with unwavering certainty, and you know that whatever comes next, you will face it together. You step forward, sealing this moment with a kiss that is both a promise and a question, an offering and an invitation. The world shifts around you, the past fading and the future unfolding like the petals of a rose kissed by dawn. In that kiss, you feel the weight of destiny settle gently on your shoulders. A mantle you are ready to bear. The flame of love has been kindled, and with it, the first notes of a saga that will shape the ages. Under the cloak of midnight, you and Helen slip quietly from the palace, hearts pounding with a mix of exhilaration and apprehension. The moon hangs low, casting a pale silver glow over the city's sleeping streets. The cool night air feels sharp against your skin, filled with the scent of olive blossoms and distant sea spray. Each step you take is deliberate, the crunch of your sandals muffled by the soft earth as you navigate shadowed alleys and garden paths woven with jasmine and myrtle. The city around you is a dream of stone and silence, softened by the hush of a world resting. You sense the weight of every gaze turned away, the unspoken trust of those who choose to close their eyes and hearts to what stirs beneath the stars. Your fingers brush hers, a touch electric yet tender, and you feel the steady rhythm of her breath, a quiet anchor in a sea of uncertainty. The path you follow winds through groves of cypress and pomegranate, trees heavy with the promise of fruit and the secrets of the night. The soft murmur of distant waves reaches your ears, a constant reminder of the journey that lies ahead. You pause briefly beside a fountain, its waters shimmering with moonlight, and watch as a silver fish darts beneath the surface, a fleeting flash of life in the stillness. Helen's eyes catch yours in the dark, her gaze steady and full of unspoken words. The shadows reveal the gentle curve of her smile, and in that moment, you understand the fragile beauty of what you share, a bond forged in silence and shadows, delicate yet unbreakable. Your footsteps lead you to a waiting ship, its hull rocking softly against the gentle swell of the sea. The crew moves with practiced efficiency, their faces lit by lanterns that cast warm pools of light across the deck. You sense their quiet readiness, the unspoken knowledge that this voyage will carry you far from familiar shores into the realm of legend. The scent of salt and tar mingles with the crisp night air as you step aboard. The wood beneath your feet creaks softly, a song of journeys begun and destinies fulfilled. The sails unfurl silently above, catching the gentle breeze that promises movement and change. As the ship slips away from the harbor, the city's lights fade into a constellation of distant stars. The horizon stretches wide and endless, a canvas painted with the soft glow of dawn yet to come. The rhythm of the waves against the hull becomes a steady heartbeat, a cadence that lulls and energizes in equal measure. You stand at the bow, the wind tugging at your cloak and hair, carrying the taste of salt and freedom. Helen's hand finds yours, fingers intertwining with a familiarity born not of time, but of shared purpose. The night sky above is a tapestry of constellations, their ancient light guiding you toward a future unwritten. The journey ahead is cloaked in mystery and promise. You sense the weight of the choice that brought you here, the consequences woven into every wave and whisper of wind. The sea stretches before you like a vast, dark mirror, reflecting both your hopes and fears. As dawn approaches, the first blush of light softens the horizon, painting the clouds with hues of rose and gold. The world seems to hold its breath, suspended in a moment of perfect stillness before the storm of events that will follow. You take a deep breath, filling your lungs with the crisp morning air and the promise of new beginnings. Helen's gaze meets yours, steady and resolute, and you feel a surge of determination, a silent vow to face whatever comes together. The ship sails onward, cutting through the calm waters, carrying you both toward a destiny forged in love, conflict, and the eternal dance of fate. Each wave carries a whisper of stories yet to be told, legends waiting to be born beneath the watchful eyes of gods and mortals alike. You lean into the wind, your heart steady despite the unknown, and prepare to step fully into the saga that has already begun. The sea stretches before you, wide and infinite, and with Helen by your side, you are ready to meet whatever the horizon holds. As dawn breaks, the first soft rays of sunlight filter through a veil of mist, casting the world in gentle hues of pink and lavender. You stand on the deck of the ship, the cool sea breeze brushing against your face, carrying with it the salty promise of new horizons. The quiet murmur of the crew preparing for the day mixes with the gentle lapping of waves against the hull, creating a peaceful symphony that contrasts with the turmoil stirring deep within your heart. Helen stands beside you, her silhouette framed by the pale light, her eyes reflecting both the calm sea and the storm of emotions beneath. The night's shadows have faded, replaced by the clarity of morning, yet the uncertainty of what lies ahead remains a weight you both carry silently. Her fingers tighten around yours, a small but profound gesture, a tether in a world that seems suddenly vast and fragile. The ship sails steadily forward, cutting through the tranquil waters that stretch endlessly before you. The scent of the sea is fresh and invigorating, mingling with the faint aroma of herbs from the small garden nestled near the captain's quarters. You catch sight of rosemary and lavender, their leaves shimmering with dew, a quiet reminder that even on a journey fraught with danger, there is room for beauty and hope. You take a moment to breathe deeply, filling your lungs with the crisp air, letting the coolness wash over you like a balm. The horizon glows softly, the sun just beginning to claim the sky, and you feel the steady pulse of the ship beneath your feet, a heartbeat that seems to sync with your own. The world is waking, unfolding in slow, deliberate motions, and you find a measure of peace in the rhythm. Helen's gaze drifts toward the distant shoreline you have left behind, a land of familiar scents and memories. Her expression is thoughtful, tinged with a sadness you do not question but share. The journey has begun, carrying you away from home and into the unknown, a path lined with both promise and peril. The crew moves with quiet purpose, their conversations low and respectful, a practiced harmony born of countless voyages. You hear the soft creak of rigging and the occasional call of a seabird, sounds that weave together to form the backdrop of your passage. The steady hum of the sea and the gentle sway of the ship beneath you create a lullaby that soothes and unsettles in equal measure. You find yourself reflecting on the choices that brought you here, the weight of judgment, the pull of desire, the tides of fate that have swept you from the hills of Troy to these open waters. The golden apple's promise lingers in your mind, a beacon shining through the fog of uncertainty. Its glow a reminder of paths chosen and roads yet to be traveled. Helen steps closer, her voice soft as she speaks of hopes and fears, of dreams tangled with reality. Her words are a balm, a light in the encroaching shadows, and you listen with a heart open and attentive. Together, you share a quiet moment of connection, a fragile sanctuary amid the vastness of the sea and the weight of destiny. The ship's wake glitters like a trail of stars in the morning light, a path carved through the deep blue, leading you onward. You feel the pull of the horizon, the call of what lies beyond, and the steady certainty that this journey is but the first chapter in a story that will echo through time. As the sun climbs higher, warming the deck beneath your feet, you stand side by side with Helen, ready to face whatever challenges await. The sea stretches wide and endless before you, a canvas waiting to be painted with the colors of adventure, love, and conflict. You take her hand once more, a silent vow passing between you, a promise to walk the uncertain road together, bound by the choices that have shaped your fate. The ship sails onward, carrying you both into the unfolding saga, the first steps of a legend yet to be told. The sun rises higher, bathing the sea in warm golden light that shimmers across the endless waves. The gentle rocking of the ship becomes a steady rhythm beneath your feet, a pulse that matches the slow unfolding of the day. You stand at the prow, eyes fixed on the horizon where sky and water blur into one, the vastness stretching before you like an open canvas, waiting to be filled with the brush strokes of fate. The cool breeze carries the scent of salt and distant lands, mingled with the faint aroma of the ship's wooden timbers, and the lingering fragrance of fresh herbs from the deck's small garden. You breathe deeply, the crisp air filling your lungs and clearing your mind, grounding you in the present even as your thoughts wander to the unknown path ahead. Helen joins you at the bow, her presence a quiet reassurance against the vastness surrounding you. Her eyes reflect the sunlight, bright and clear, yet shadowed with the weight of unspoken thoughts. You reach out, your hand finding hers, fingers intertwining with a familiarity that speaks of trust and shared resolve. The ship's crew move with practiced ease, their voices low and steady, the sounds blending with the creak of ropes and the flutter of sails. The quiet hum of life aboard the vessel creates a soothing backdrop, a reminder that even amid uncertainty, there is order and purpose. You think of the journey's purpose, not merely the miles crossed, but the tides of destiny set in motion by your choice. The golden apple's glow lingers in your mind, a symbol of promises made and consequences yet to unfold. You feel the weight of history pressing lightly on your shoulders, a mantle both heavy and honored. The sea stretches wide and deep, its surface sparkling with the dance of sunlight and shadow. You watch as schools of fish dart beneath the waves, silver flashes in the blue expanse, a fleeting glimpse of life's ceaseless motion. A pod of dolphins appears nearby, their sleek forms cutting through the water with effortless grace, weaving around the ship in a playful dance. Helen's voice breaks the reverie, soft and steady, speaking of hopes for peace and the desire for a future where love can flourish unshadowed by war. Her words hang in the air like a delicate promise, fragile yet enduring. You listen, feeling the truth of her wishes echo within your own heart. The sky above shifts, clouds gathering in slow, majestic formations, hinting at the change to come. The light softens, the sun's brilliance tempered by the approach of evening. You feel the subtle shift in the air, the quiet tension of moments before a storm, charged with anticipation and possibility. As night falls, the stars emerge one by one, sparkling against the dark velvet sky. The constellations, ancient guides to sailors and dreamers, watch silently over your voyage, their stories intertwining with yours in a tapestry of fate and legend. The ship's lanterns flicker to life, casting warm pools of light that dance across the deck and ripple with the gentle motion of the sea. The crew settles into quiet routines, the hum of conversation softening into whispers and lullabies. You find a quiet spot near the stern, the wood cool beneath your hands as you gaze up at the endless sky. Helen joins you, her presence a steady comfort in the vastness. You share stories and dreams in low voices, weaving a fragile thread of connection amid the unfolding journey. The night deepens, the sea's song rising and falling in gentle waves, a timeless lullaby for those who wander beneath the stars. You feel the steady beat of your own heart, a rhythm intertwined with the vast, unending ocean and the promise of what lies ahead. In this moment of quiet, you understand that the voyage is not just a passage across water, but a crossing into legend, a tale of love and war, of choices and consequences, of mortal courage and divine will. You close your eyes briefly, breathing in the salt-tinged air, feeling the weight and wonder of the path you have chosen. The sea stretches endlessly before you, a mirror to the future, vast and unknowable, yet filled with the light of stars and the warmth of shared hope. Together, you and Helen face the horizon, ready to meet whatever dawns await. Your hands clasped tightly, your hearts bound by the journey's promise. You awaken to the gentle sway of the ship, the rhythmic creaking of wood against water, and the soft murmur of voices carried on the early morning breeze. The sky above is painted in delicate shades of pink and gold, heralding the arrival of a new day. The scent of salt and seaweed fills the air, mingling with the faint aroma of fresh bread baked by the ship's cook. You stretch and take a deep breath, feeling the cool sea air fill your lungs and steady your racing heart. Stepping out onto the deck, you watch as the horizon glows with the first light of dawn, the sun a fiery orb slowly ascending from the depths. The water sparkles like scattered jewels, waves gently rocking the vessel as it cuts through the calm sea. The crew moves with practiced grace, tending sails and ropes, their movements smooth and purposeful against the backdrop of the awakening world. Helen appears beside you, her hair catching the light, shimmering like strands of spun gold. Her eyes reflect the morning sky, bright and clear, yet touched with the gravity of the journey ahead. She offers a soft smile, a silent reassurance that steadies your nerves and bolsters your resolve. You reach out, fingers intertwining with hers, this simple connection a lifeline amid the vast unknown. As the ship sails steadily forward, you feel a mix of anticipation and quiet dread settling within you. The journey is more than miles traversed. It is a passage into uncertainty, a crossing from familiar shores into the realm of legend. Every wave that laps against the hull seems to carry whispers of the stories yet to unfold, the echoes of love and war woven into the fabric of your fate. You move to the ship's rail, gazing out at the endless expanse of blue, The sea stretches endlessly, a mirror to the sky, its surface shifting with light and shadow in a dance as old as time. A flock of seabirds wheeling overhead adds life to the scene, their cries sharp and clear against the hush of the morning. The gentle rhythm of the ship's movement lulls your thoughts into reflection. You consider the choice that led you here, the moment of judgment, the golden apple, the promise of love that now binds you to Helen. The weight of that decision is a constant companion, its consequences unfolding with each passing day, each whispered word, each stolen glance. Helen's voice draws you from your reverie. She speaks softly of home, the hills of Troy, the olive groves, the laughter of children in sunlit courtyards. Her words are tinged with longing, a bittersweet reminder of all that has been left behind. Yet there is also hope woven through her speech, a belief in the possibility of a future shaped by choice and courage. You share your own thoughts in return, speaking of dreams and fears, of the unknown road ahead, and the strength found in unity. The conversation flows between you like a river, deep and steady, carving a path through uncertainty toward understanding. As the sun climbs higher, warming the deck beneath your feet, the world around you comes alive with color and sound. The ship's sails billow in the breeze, carrying you onward toward horizons unseen. The crew settles into their tasks, their quiet diligence a testament to experience and resolve. The day unfolds in a rhythm both comforting and unsettling. The constant motion of the ship, the ever-changing light, the endless sea. You find moments of peace amid the vastness, brief interludes where the future seems within reach, the path clear and true, yet beneath the calm lies an undercurrent of tension, a reminder that every journey holds risk and every choice carries the weight of consequence. You feel it in the tightening of your chest, the quickening of your pulse, the shadow that flickers at the edge of your thoughts. The horizon beckons, a line where sky meets sea, where stories begin and end. You face it with determination, tempered by humility, ready to meet whatever dawns may come. As evening falls, the sky deepens to shades of violet and indigo, stars emerging one by one like ancient eyes watching over the world. The ship's lanterns cast a warm glow, flickering against the darkening sea, a beacon in the vast night. You stand beside Helen, the warmth of her presence a steady flame in the gathering darkness. Together you look forward, hands clasped, hearts bound by the journey, ready to face the tides of fate with courage and hope. The next morning dawns clear and bright, the sun casting long beams of light that dance across the sea like molten gold. The ship cuts steadily through the calm waters, leaving behind a trail of frothy white foam that glimmers in the fresh light. The air is filled with the briny scent of the ocean, mingled with the faint sweetness of blooming wildflowers. Carried by the breeze from distant shores, you stand at the prow, feeling the wind whip through your hair, tugging at your cloak and stirring a restless energy deep within. The vast expanse of water stretches endlessly before you, a mirror to the sky's endless blue, and you sense the magnitude of the journey still unfolding. The rhythmic creaking of the ship's timbers and the soft splash of waves against the hull create a steady soundtrack, a heartbeat accompanying your passage. Helen approaches, her presence as serene as the sea itself, and together you watch the horizon where sky and water meet in a seamless embrace. Her eyes, bright and clear, reflect both the vastness of the world and the depth of emotions swirling beneath the surface. You reach for her hand, the simple contact a grounding force amid the uncertainty. The crew move with practiced precision, their voices low and steady, as they manage sails and rigging. The camaraderie among them is quiet but palpable, a shared understanding born of countless voyages through these waters. Their faces, weathered by sun and salt, reveal stories of endurance and hope, of paths crossed and tales told beneath the stars. The ship's cook prepares a modest meal, the aroma of fresh bread and herbs drifting across the deck, mingling with the salty air. You share a quiet moment with Helen over this simple fare, the taste of warmth and sustenance, a comfort amid the vastness of the sea. As the day unfolds, you find moments of reflection, watching the play of light on the waves, the flight of seabirds overhead, the patterns of clouds shifting across the sky. Each detail seems imbued with meaning, a reminder that even in the vastness, the small and fleeting hold profound significance. Your thoughts turn to Troy, the city of your birth, its walls rising proudly against the landscape, the olive groves heavy with fruit, the laughter of those you left behind. The memories bring a mixture of longing and resolve, a bittersweet acknowledgement of what has been and what must come. Helen's gaze follows yours, her expression thoughtful, tinged with a shared understanding of the journey's weight. She speaks softly of dreams for peace, for a future where love and hope might flourish, unshadowed by the specter of war. Her words linger in the air, a fragile yet enduring promise. The ship sails onward, cutting through the shimmering waters with steady purpose. The sun climbs higher, warming the deck beneath your feet, and the world unfolds in a rhythm both comforting and relentless. The journey is as much within as it is across the sea, a passage through the tides of fate and the currents of the heart. As afternoon fades into evening, the sky transforms into a canvas of fiery reds and soft purples, the sun dipping toward the horizon in a slow, majestic descent. The crew gathers on deck, their faces bathed in the glow of lanterns, sharing stories and songs that weave threads of camaraderie and courage. You find yourself drawn into the circle, the voices rising and falling like the waves beneath, a chorus of resilience and hope. The music and laughter carry into the night, mingling with the salt air and the endless sea. Later, you step away to a quiet spot at the ship's stern, the wood cool beneath your hands, the night sky a tapestry of stars, stretching endlessly above. Helen joins you, her presence a steady light in the darkness, and together you look out over the water, hands clasped and hearts united. The future remains unwritten, a vast and open sea filled with possibility and peril. But in this moment, you find strength in each other, a beacon to guide you through the uncertainties ahead. The journey continues, its course set by choices made and dreams dared. And as the ship sails onward beneath the watchful stars, you embrace the adventure that lies ahead, ready to meet whatever dawns await on the horizon. The shores of Ilium come into view at last, the city's ramparts rising like ancient sentinels against the sky. You feel a surge of something deep and primal, a mixture of relief, anticipation, and the weight of what lies ahead. The sun hangs low, casting long shadows that stretch across the gleaming walls, each stone whispering tales of battles and kings, of heroes and gods who have shaped this land through the ages. The ship glides silently into the harbor, the water shimmering with the reflection of torches already lit along the quay. Fishermen and merchants prepare to welcome travelers with calls and greetings, their faces alight with curiosity and cautious hope. You catch the scent of roasted meats and fresh bread mingling with the salty air, a welcoming feast unfolding even as your footsteps carry you toward the city's heart. The hull creaks softly as the vessel is secured, and the crew moves swiftly to unload supplies and passengers. You step onto the dock, the rough wood firm beneath your feet, and take in the familiar sights, the bustle of market stalls, the chatter of voices raised in barter and laughter, the cries of children playing in the streets. It is home, yet changed, transformed by time and the passage of distant winds. Your heart beats steadily as you make your way through the crowds, the faces of citizens turning toward you with a mixture of recognition and uncertainty. Whispers ripple through the air tales of the prince returned, of love and war, of choices that will shape the fate of all who dwell within these walls. You meet their gazes with a calm resolve, knowing the weight of their hopes rests lightly on your shoulders. The road leads you through olive groves heavy with fruit, their leaves rustling softly in the evening breeze. The scent of thyme and wildflowers fills the air, a reminder of the land's enduring beauty, even amid the shadows of conflict. You pause briefly to touch the rough bark of an ancient tree, its twisted branches a silent witness to generations of history and memory. As you approach the palace, the grandeur of its stone facade takes your breath away. Columns rise like mighty trees, their capitals carved with intricate patterns of vines and mythic creatures. Torches flicker along the walls, casting dancing shadows that bring the carvings to life, their forms shifting in the firelight as if telling their own stories. The gates open to reveal courtiers and servants gathered in quiet anticipation. Their expressions are a tapestry of emotions, joy, relief, weariness, and hope. You step forward, the weight of their gazes, both a comfort and a challenge. The palace halls echo with footsteps as you make your way deeper into the heart of the city. In the throne room, King Priam awaits, his regal presence commanding yet softened by the years. His eyes, wise and weathered, meet yours with a mixture of pride and concern. The years have etched lines into his face, but his spirit remains unbowed, a pillar of strength in uncertain times. You embrace, a gesture that speaks of bonds unbroken by distance or hardship. The warmth of his embrace steadies you, a reminder that family endures beyond trials and choices. The murmurs of those gathered echo softly, a chorus of support and expectation. Queen Hecuba enters quietly, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears and fierce love. She offers you a smile that holds both comfort and warning, a mother's heart bracing for the storms to come. Her presence fills the room with a gentle strength, a reminder of the roots that anchor you amid the shifting tides. As the evening unfolds, you gather with your family and trusted allies, sharing stories, hopes, and fears beneath the glow of flickering lamps. The air is thick with unspoken questions, and the quiet resolve to face whatever challenges lie ahead. The threads of your journey weave tighter here, binding you to the land, the people, and the fate that awaits. You find a moment alone on a balcony overlooking the city, the cool night air wrapping around you like a shroud. The stars above glitter like ancient sentinels, their light a silent witness to your return. You breathe deeply, letting the weight of the day settle, and find solace in the enduring presence of home. The city sleeps beneath a blanket of darkness and dreams, unaware of the storm gathering on the horizon. Yet in the stillness you feel the pulse of destiny quicken, a heartbeat that will soon echo through the walls and streets, through the hearts of all who call Ilium home. You turn inward, steadying yourself for the days to come, knowing that the journey is far from over. The path ahead is lined with challenges and sacrifices, with love and loss entwined like the branches of an ancient olive tree. But in this moment you hold fast to the hope that guides you, the promise of a future shaped by courage, loyalty, and the unyielding spirit of those who stand together. The night deepens, and you step back into the warmth of the palace, ready to face whatever dawn may bring. You find yourself drawn to the quiet corners of the palace, where the shadows linger longest, seeking solace amid the soft murmur of distant conversations and the flicker of candlelight. The weight of recent days presses upon you, a blend of joy, fear, and anticipation as you navigate the corridors lined with tapestries that tell tales of gods and heroes. Each thread seems to pulse with memory, weaving the past and present into an unbroken chain. Your footsteps lead you to a chamber where Queen Hecuba often retreats, a sanctuary away from the demands of court and council. The room is simple yet warm, filled with the scent of lavender and chamomile, herbs known for their soothing properties. A fire crackles gently in the hearth, casting dancing shadows that flicker across walls adorned with painted scenes of motherhood and sacrifice. You find Hecuba seated by a small table, her hands folded in her lap, eyes distant yet attentive. Her face carries the lines of wisdom and worry, the deep knowledge of a woman who has witnessed the tides of fate sweep over her family and kingdom. She looks up as you enter, offering a smile touched with both relief and sorrow. She speaks softly, her voice carrying the weight of countless prayers whispered in the night. Her words weave stories of omens and dreams, of whispers carried on the wind and the steady beat of drums that echo in her heart. You listen, the flickering firelight reflecting in her eyes, and you feel the gravity of her fears mingled with her fierce love. She recounts a vision of serpents entwined, of shadows lengthening across the land, of children lost to the hands of fate. The imagery is haunting, yet her tone is tempered with a mother's hope, a belief that love and courage can defy even the darkest prophecies. You sense the depth of her connection to the unseen forces that shape your world, a bond forged in both faith and fear. Her gaze meets yours, steady and unwavering, and you feel the unspoken understanding between you, a shared burden, a silent vow to protect those you hold dear. The room feels alive with the energy of generations past and future, the invisible threads that bind families and kingdoms across time. As the evening deepens, you find comfort in her presence, a refuge from the swirling uncertainties beyond the palace walls. The quiet moments shared between you offer a fragile peace, a chance to gather strength before the storms ahead. You speak of your own hopes and fears, the weight of choices made, and the road yet to be traveled. Your words mingle with hers in a delicate dance, a weaving of hearts and minds bound by love and loyalty. Together, you find a measure of solace in the knowledge that even in the face of destiny's harsh decree, there is power in unity and resolve. The fire burns low, its glow softening the edges of the room, wrapping you both in a gentle embrace. Outside, the night deepens, the stars a silent witness to the hopes and fears whispered within these walls. You rise to leave, the quiet strength of the queen lingering with you like a talisman. The path ahead is uncertain, fraught with peril and sacrifice, yet you carry with you the unwavering bond of family, a light to guide you through the darkest nights. As you step back into the palace's shadowed halls, you feel the steady rhythm of your own heartbeat, a reminder that courage is not the absence of fear, but the will to face it. The journey continues, and with it, the story unfolds woven from love, loss, and the unbreakable ties that bind. You find a quiet room deep within the palace, its walls lined with shelves that cradle scrolls and books' ancient wisdom resting in fragile forms. The air is cool and scented faintly with dust and ink, a sanctuary of thought Amid the turmoil of the world outside, you settle into a carved wooden chair near a small window, the soft light filtering in and casting gentle shadows that dance across the worn pages before you. Helen enters quietly, her footsteps muted against the stone floor. She carries herself with a grace that belies the turmoil she has endured, a resilience forged in the fires of love and loss. Her eyes meet yours with a mixture of curiosity and contemplation, as if searching for answers in the silent spaces between words. She speaks softly, her voice carrying the weight of reflection and the yearning for understanding. She shares her thoughts on beauty, not the fleeting allure that captivates and fades, but the deeper kind that shapes destinies and binds souls. Her words weave a tapestry of hope and sorrow, of dreams both fulfilled and shattered. You listen, captivated by the honesty and vulnerability in her voice. Her reflections stir your own thoughts, drawing you into a shared meditation on the nature of fate and free will, on the delicate balance between choice and destiny. The room feels alive with the quiet power of introspection, a space where time slows and the heart speaks freely. The sun dips lower, bathing the chamber in a warm, golden glow that softens the edges of the world. You find yourself drawn to the scrolls laid out before you, tales of heroes and gods, of love and war, stories that have shaped civilizations and echoed through the ages. Each line is a thread in the vast tapestry of human experience, a reminder of the enduring power of narrative. Helen reaches out, her hand brushing lightly over a page, tracing the faded ink with reverence. Her gaze lingers on the words, and you sense the depth of her connection to these stories, a longing to find her place within their unfolding. You share a quiet smile, a moment of understanding that transcends speech. Together you explore the labyrinth of history and myth, finding parallels and contrasts that illuminate your own journey. The scrolls become mirrors reflecting the complexities of your shared fate, the interplay of love, power, and sacrifice that defines the path ahead. As the evening deepens, shadows lengthen, and the world outside fades into quiet stillness. The only sounds are the soft rustle of parchment and the steady cadence of your breathing, a symphony of calm amid the storm. You feel the weight of the moment, a pause between past and future, between what has been and what is yet to come. Helen's presence is a steadying force, a reminder that even in the face of uncertainty, connection and understanding endure. You sense the strength that arises from shared vulnerability, the courage born of trust and openness. You close the scroll gently, the stories folding into the silence. The room feels charged with possibility, a sacred space where the seeds of hope and determination take root. You rise, the warmth of the fading light wrapping around you like a cloak. As you prepare to leave, Helen's hand finds yours, a silent promise woven into the simple touch. The journey continues, marked not only by grand events, but by these quiet moments of reflection and connection. You step into the evening, carrying with you the wisdom of stories past and the fragile hope of those yet to be told. The path ahead is uncertain, but together you face it with hearts open and spirits unyielding. The palace fades behind you as you walk into the night, the stars above a silent witness to the unfolding tale, a story of love, fate, and the enduring power of the human spirit. The city is alive with tension, the air thick with whispers and cautious glances. You walk the marble halls of the palace, the echo of your footsteps mingling with distant voices, murmurs of unease and anticipation. The walls, adorned with murals of gods and warriors, seem to watch silently, witnesses to the unfolding drama that will soon ripple through these very streets. Outside, the sun dips low, casting long shadows that stretch like fingers across the city's stone. The scent of burning olive wood mingles with the crisp evening air, creating a heady perfume that stirs something deep within. You pause at a window, gazing out at the bustling Agra, where merchants hurriedly pack their wares, and citizens exchange hurried words, each face marked by a mixture of hope and fear. Your thoughts turn inward, reflecting on the choices that have led you here: the golden apple, the judgment, the promise of love that binds your fate to Helen's. You feel the weight of destiny pressing heavily upon you, yet beneath it, a spark of resolve ignites, urging you forward despite the uncertainty. Helen joins you, her presence a calming balm against the storm of thoughts swirling in your mind. Her eyes hold a quiet strength, a determination forged through trials both seen and unseen. She speaks softly of hope and courage, of the belief that even in darkness, light can find a way to shine. Together you move through the corridors, the palace alive with activity as preparations unfold for the days ahead. Courtiers gather in clusters, their conversations laced with speculation and guarded optimism. Servants move with practiced efficiency, their faces steady as they prepare feasts and summon allies. You find a moment of stillness in the garden courtyard, where olive trees sway gently in the evening breeze. The scent of jasmine drifts through the air, mingling with the distant song of a lute. The world feels fragile here, suspended between the past and the unknown future. Helen takes your hand, and together you walk among the ancient stones, the cool marble beneath your feet grounding you in the present. The garden feels like a sanctuary, a place where hope can take root even as shadows gather. You speak of dreams of peace, of a future where love prevails over war, where families are whole and cities flourish. Her voice is a melody, weaving a tapestry of possibility that lingers in the air like a promise. As night falls, the palace lights flicker to life, casting warm pools of glow that ripple across the courtyard. Stars emerge overhead, silent witnesses to the unfolding saga, their ancient light a reminder of the enduring cycles of fate and renewal. You stand together beneath the vast sky, the weight of the moment settling around you like a cloak. The journey has led you to this precipice, a threshold between what was and what will be. With a steady breath you turn inward, gathering the strength to face the challenges ahead. The path is uncertain, fraught with peril and sacrifice, but also with the possibility of redemption and love's enduring power. The city hums softly beneath the night, a living tapestry of stories yet to be told. You step forward, ready to write your own chapter in the eternal dance of fate. The dawn breaks with a soft glow, casting a pale light over the city that feels both fragile and resolute. You rise early, the quiet of the morning wrapping around you like a protective shroud. The world feels suspended in a delicate balance, a breath held before the inevitable unfolding. You step onto the balcony, the cool air brushing your skin, and gaze out over the waking city. The streets below begin to stir, a slow awakening of voices and footsteps. Merchants prepare their stalls, the aroma of fresh bread and spices weaving through the crisp air. Children's laughter rings out in the distance, a hopeful sound that counters the weight of what lies ahead. You take a deep breath, grounding yourself in the present, even as your mind races with the unknown. Helen joins you quietly, her presence steady and reassuring. Her eyes meet yours, filled with unspoken understanding and shared resolve. Together, you watch as the city comes alive, each moment a thread in the tapestry of fate woven anew. The palace behind you hums with activity guards ready their arms. Advisors consult in hushed tones, and the murmur of preparation rises like a tide. You feel the pulse of anticipation, a collective heartbeat that echoes through the marble halls and stone streets. Your thoughts drift to the choice that set these events in motion, the golden apple, the judgment, the promise of love that shaped destinies. The weight of that decision is a steady presence, a reminder that every path holds both light and shadow. You speak softly to Helen of hopes for peace, for a future where love can heal rather than divide. Her response is a gentle promise, a vow to face the trials ahead with courage and grace. The connection between you feels unbreakable, a bond forged in both passion and purpose. The sun climbs higher, bathing the city in warm light. The horizon stretches wide and endless, a canvas painted with possibility and challenge. You feel the steady rhythm of life beneath your feet, the pulse of a world poised on the edge of transformation. As the day unfolds, you move through the city, greeting faces marked by both joy and uncertainty. Each encounter is a reminder of the stakes, of the lives entwined in the web of fate spun by gods and mortals alike. The weight of responsibility presses upon you, yet beneath it, a quiet strength emerges. You find moments of reflection amid the bustle of fragrant garden, where olive trees whisper ancient secrets, a quiet chapel where prayers rise like smoke toward the heavens. These spaces offer solace and clarity, anchors in the storm of destiny. Evening falls with a gentle hush, the sky painted in shades of violet and gold. The city settles into a rhythm of calm, the promise of rest mingling with the tension of what tomorrow may bring. You stand with Helen beneath a canopy of stars, their distant light a silent witness to the journey you have begun. The world feels vast and mysterious, a tapestry woven from threads of love, sacrifice, and courage. You breathe in the night air, the scent of jasmine and earth filling your senses, and feel the steady beat of your own heart, a rhythm intertwined with the countless stories that came before and those yet to be told. In this moment, you understand that the journey is not just about battles or glory, but about the enduring power of choice and connection. The story you are part of is one of hope and resilience, a testament to the strength found in unity and the courage to face the unknown. You take Helen's hand, your fingers entwined, and together you step forward into the unfolding dawn, ready to meet whatever fate holds with open hearts and unyielding spirit. The path ahead is uncertain, but you walk it with the knowledge that love, in all its complexity and power, will guide you through the shadows into the light.